Previously on Ignorant Rants. And we are back! Just wanted to see if someone wanted to jump in, but I guess I'm driving this train, seeing as it's my show and all.
As you so constantly remind us.
What? Can't hear you. You're sitting so far back. You should sit up and act like you want to be here. I can't. What? What? I'm sorry. What was that?
Did we lose him? Is the internet bad?
Can you hear me? Barely.
Why are we whispering?
I just wanted to see if you do it if I did it.
Well, you got me. Your Jedi mind trick worked. Hello, and welcome to Ignorant Rants, the show where a bunch of friends get together and they say, fuck you all. I'm your host, Tim. How you doing? Nice to see you. Joined today by Bobby. Bobby, what's going on?
Not a lot, man. How you doing?
I don't even know who you are right now.
I'm Bobby.
So how about them Thunder?
Fuck off.
So to get a rise out of them.
Fuck off.
I want to see you knock over that lampshade sitting next to you right now.
Not the rest of the lamp.
No, just the lampshade with the flip it off like a head.
I tweeted at Kevin Durant and at Oklahoma City through our Ignorant Rants page yesterday because I was so pissed off.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I was okay with it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping someone somewhere saw it. I had a pretty clever hashtag on there.
It was pretty good. Always.
Always. Oh no, that fucked up. that was a fuck up.
Hashtag always.
Hashtag always.
Yeah. And we got Brent. Brent, what's going on? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm here.
Fuck, dude, like no one wants to be here today.
It's not that it's not that I don't want to be here.
Look, I think we're all feeling a little underappreciated right now.
That's really all it is.
Well, I fucking love both of you.
Oh,
so
stop it.
Suck all of it.
Stop it.
Even after you just took a jab at my favorite team, losing the game in the playoffs.
It was the second game of the series.
Yeah.
They got time.
It was a home
he
game,
shot
though.
7 of 33
Yeah,
from
I saw
the floor.
that. Worst
in 30 seasons.
Hold on, yeah,
tied
tied Michael Jordan for the worst shooting percentage in the playoffs
in 30 seasons.
And the mere fact that we lost by a point, and it's like, just pass the ball once.
How is the statistic so bad tied to Michael Jordan? I wonder. That's weird.
Yeah, well, that's because that
Could
guy.
It be that the man's overrated?
No. It was his early years, man. It's early years when he was just a selfish ball hog. LeBron knows a lot about that.
LeBron definitely was the assist machine his first several seasons.
LeBron's got like the 4th most assists in the history of the NBA.
And the only reason, and he did keep the ball a lot, but that's because he was in a team that had fucking people from the local Y team playing every fucking season with him.
LeBron and AAU.
Yeah, honestly.
Funny.
LeBron and the fucking basketball team from the Community College of British Columbia. I mean, it's a thing.
That's the thing. Yeah. I mean, Daniel Tosh in his newest stand-up talked about LeBron James and how he was the one Miami Heat fan that was glad that he left and went back to Cleveland.
I don't know. Chris Bosh came out swinging this year, but
I
don't watch the Heat anymore because
why would you? When you drive the bandwagon, there's no reason to.
How is it a bandwagon to follow a player and not a team?
Because you're following the player.
And?
It's the ultimate bandwagon, bro.
I've been following him since junior high, and what?
Since junior high at St. Mary's?
He used to show up there. Traveled to Ohio on the weekends.
Yeah. Fucking rooted at all of his games.
That's where his stab wound came from. He was in Akron.
He's got a timeshare in Akron.
I can't get rid of it. While I was there, I was like, well, I might as well stay here. Hey, who's this basketball player we keep hearing about? It's crazy.
Nah, anything's worth it for a free set of golf clubs.
I've seen these. They're at Walmart. They're $87. This is something I feel like I get ripped off. So, we're going to do, actually, I don't know what we're going to do because we wing it every single time. That's how we roll around here.
Yeah.
Half the time we don't even know we're recording. We just show up and mic's on and we're like, well, I guess we're doing this.
Right.
So,
and sometimes
Bobby,
I put episodes up that are just totally uncut.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Sometimes just talking into a mic that's recording comes back to bite us in the ass.
Yeah, sometimes it's raw, and sometimes it's fucking raw. And it's the rawest of raw. So Bobby, someone posted on your Facebook an interesting question.
Yeah, and I want to give Homegirl a shout out. My friend Nadia.
Do it.
I
What's
asked
up, Nadia?
her
How you doing?
What's
up, girl?
I asked her if she was all right with getting the shout out. So, because she specifically approached me with this article, and was like, the ignorant ranters need to talk about this. And the article was,
ooh, we have a fan.
Yeah, I don't know why she didn't fucking post it on the page.
She could have commented.
She had to do it directly to Bobby because number one, this isn't even Bobby's show. This is my show.
I think
if
it's
you're
well
comment
established.
To anybody,
I think that we should probably just be glad that somebody was thinking about a topic for us.
That's very true.
Thank
you, Nadia.
The vehicle that she took to give us the topic.
And next time we do have an ignorant rants page. I'm just saying. But
so yeah, she shared this article with me that I thought was pretty hilarious, and it was who would win, Kylo Ren versus the bear from The Revenant.
That's a good matchup. That's a good matchup. That's a tough call.
And that she had me rolling, so I figured we could talk about that and then maybe come up with another few hypothetical, hilarious verses, if you will.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm on board.
I'm all about it. So who would win in this fight?
I don't think the bear would win because...
No, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I think I think it'd be a good fight. I'm not saying that I think it would be like just he'd be a pushover, I mean, he took like 3 or 4 shots to the fucking face and a couple stab wounds. But, I mean, he still wasn't able to kill Leo, and this was, in what I imagine, the early 19th century. So, I'm not so sure that it would be able to take on someone with the Force or a lightsaber.
That's a good point, but I feel like the bear lost the Oscar fight to Leo, so he's desperate for a win. And so he's laying it all on the line.
He reeks of desperation
and
broken dreams.
Damn it!
You know what? That might be enough to sway me because I think we all know what happens when you take a dangerous animal and back it into a corner.
Right.
I can feel that. And honestly, who's to say that Kylo Ren wouldn't be terrified of the bear in the first place? So
that's very true.
He's scared of a lot of other
one
things.
fear is bears.
I mean,
the bear got the drop on Leo in The Revenant. So if the bear could get the drop on Kylo Ren, he might not have time to pull, his force push out of the holster.
Right.
And do anything about it.
That's a good point.
And once that bear's got him in his jaws,
and if
shaking him around.
If we want to get really technical about it, Kylo Ren's not even real, but that bear is. So I think reality trumps the imagination every time.
And even
this is
more.
A total side note, but the fact that you're talking about that bear not being real, it just reminded me of how PETA gave Jon Favreau an award for not harming any animals during the filming of the live-action Jungle Book because all the animals were CGI.
I was going to say, there wasn't one real animal in there.
And that's why they awarded him the award.
That's so fucking dumb. That's stupid.
Jon Favreau did the new Jungle Book?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's just the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Come on.
You think that's what the bear is singing while he's just shaking Kylo Ren around? In his head, he's humming it. While he's just,
but here's the deal, though, is that in the scene, this is why I think now I might lean a little more towards Kylo Ren, because the bear was protecting its young in the movie. It was a mama bear protecting its young, and we all know about that preternatural, crazy fucking parent strength that hits when your loved ones are in danger. So I mean, maybe if the bear's cubs have been kidnapped by the Empire, then maybe then the bear probably destroys both Death Stars in a movie and a half instead of 3.
And Starkiller Base,
yeah,
just ravages through the forest and the whole thing blows up.
But if there's
Cameron does a covert drop and drops the bear in on Kylo Ren.
Well, so now if we're following my theory though, if
about
the
the
bear
bear
is attacking Rey, then Kylo Ren's like, oh, that's my sister, and I've got to protect my sister now.
Yeah, but they're not sisters.
They're not brother and sister.
I think they are.
They're not.
I think they are.
They're cousins.
They're not cousins.
They're cousins.
They're not cousins.
They're cousins.
They're brother and sister.
They're not brother and sister.
I am 1 for 1 on calling this. I'm about to be 2 for 1 in a year and a half.
We're 1 for 1?
I called he was the son of Hannah Leia.
Everyone knew that.
Everyone knew that.
No one knew
Everyone,
that.
no one knew that.
Oh,
Come on
everyone
now.
knew that when I told everyone.
That's
Oh
not
my
true.
God,
That is
no.
true.
We all thought it.
We all thought it when I thought it.
No.
God
We
damn
don't
you.
have control over our thoughts.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Pure Republic credits are no good here.
I'm a Titanian. Only work with money. Okay, so Brent, you had a good matchup to follow this.
Well, yeah, but we didn't come to a consensus here on the
We
victor.
did, and the bear wins because of the desperation and broken dreams.
No, like I said, it depends on if the children are there or not. If the children aren't present, then the bear is just another crazy wild animal. It'll die. It'll just run away.
Well,
or die.
right, but when Kylo was fighting Rey, who was kind of a crazy animal, he lost. So, just saying, he's going to go 0-2.
Yeah, but Rey harnesses the power of the Force, and being Luke's daughter, that gives her a lot of sway in the Force.
Does it? Because if she was utilizing the Force because she's the daughter of Leia, but
Then she wouldn't have any Force power.
What?
Leia's like the weakest
Where do you
Force
think
user in
Kylo
all
gets
things.
his from?
Well, it's because I think that in all of
Skips
Star
generation.
No, in all of
That doesn't-
in all of
so
Star
she would
Wars.
still have it.
No, because her dad had it.
Right, so Rey would still have it, being his sister.
He's not.
No.
She is.
Look,
Her brother.
She is his sister.
the reason that Rey could not be Leia's daughter is because her Force abilities for using it for 30 minutes in real time in the movie, like in Star Wars universe time, like half an hour, already greatly surpassed that of Princess Leia's.
It's true.
So did Kylo Ren's. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but
that-
the thing is that like I think that if you're Luke and you like unlock the secrets, then of the Force and you can command it, then you can have a daughter from your own specific genetics that is kick ass. But Leia just like casually had the Force, inherited a little more Padme than she did Anakin, and then Kylo Ren just that's why he sucks so bad. That's why he got beat by a Force user that's never even used it before.
I don't buy it. I feel like he did not want to fight his sister.
I don't believe that for a second. Did you see the look on Luke's face at the end of the movie?
Yeah,
It was
I've
the
seen
look
that.
of a leaving father.
Really? Because I felt like it was the look of a concerned, disgruntled uncle.
No.
We wouldn't know what that looks like.
It's very true. Because no uncles ever look at me with a disgruntled look. It's always been with pride.
With pride. Here's what I
You guys
think.
are forgetting the fact that the Knights of Ren were actually a circus, like Barnum and Bailey. And so the bear from The Revenant is Luke's personal pet.
Oh.
And he taught the ways of the Force.
He used to ride around on the little unicycle
Yeah, exactly.
and
Well-
chase the clown car around.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Holy
the
shit.
Ugnaught car.
And that would make a lot more sense because then the only reason the bear didn't kill Leo in the movie is because that was just an inception dream that Leo was having. So when he woke up, he was able to move on with life.
Right.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of
Right.
sense. I can feel
That's
that.
deep. I like that.
Yeah.
So the bear wins.
So the bear
Is that what
wins.
we're saying?
Kylo Ren wins, though.
Okay. So 1 win for the bear. Okay, so Brent.
So when the we were talking about the versus thing, I don't know why, but I immediately thought of this matchup:
Okay.
the motorcycle from Ghost Rider
Okay.
versus Herbie.
Herbie, the love bug.
Herbie the love bug.
I don't think I think Herbie would passively resist the motorcycle. I'm not fighting you. I'm going to love you. And then the motorcycle spits hot fire all over it.
Yeah, but the motorcycle breaks the love bug's heart, and everybody knows that hell hath no fury.
That's very
like
true.
a Herbie scorned.
That's true. And women do fall for assholes most of the time. That bike does strike me as an asshole bike.
An asshole bike. Yeah, even all pretentious,
Right.
choppered out.
I know this nice fucking Prius over here would treat me kind, but I really would be treated terribly by this fucking badass motorcycle over here for a little bit.
But I think
Plus-
I think you're all misrepresenting motorcycles and bikers because I think that they're a good God-fearing folk that have they have a lot of loyalty, a lot of pride, definitely a lot of patriotism.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's true.
I don't think that I think you guys are giving Ghost Rider Ghost Rider.
Yeah, that's
a
very
shaft a
true.
little bit.
Seeing as Herbie the Love Bug is definitely German, so The motorcycles, would just unless it was a Nazi.
So haven't we already visited
neo-Nazi motorcycle gang? Then
yeah, but what if Herbie goes into a genocidal rage and motorcycles are the inferior vehicle race, and so
yeah, but
I mean, it is Harley Davidson. Harley,
yeah, Harley. Yeah, but is Ghost Rider is Ghost Rider a Harley? Because I mean that's an American ass company, and
it's definitely not a Suzuki.
I'm pretty sure the original motorcycle that transforms into the Ghost Rider motorcycle was a Harley.
Well, and that's important because we've already visited this America versus Germany thing about 70 years ago, and we already know how that ended.
Right. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but USA,
back-to-back World War champs.
Yeah, exactly. But I have seen on film Herbie get cut in half and still motor on.
Right, but we've also seen on film that motorcycle on fire. Moving on.
That's true. And that motorcycle, even if Herbie had the upper hand, I think that it just kind of disappears and reappears at will. So it'd be like trying to fight Nightcrawler or something.
That'd be hard.
That would be hard.
Because I heard every time he teleports, it smells like rotten eggs and broken dreams.
I'm just going to pepper that in as much as
every chance I can get.
Every chance. Yeah, but I mean, so the Ghost Rider motorcycle, it's got a lot of rage.
It does.
It's probably an alcoholic.
It definitely is at least a former meth addict.
And the Herbie's kind of shifty, you know? It's plays pranks on the people that it chooses to allow it to drive it and things of that nature. See, I think that Herbie might be a little bit craftier, whereas the Ghost Rider would probably fly into a rage and lose sight of what's really happening.
Yeah, but then again, I feel like I can piggyback on that because didn't Herbie win like the Piston Cup or some bullshit?
I think Herbie was the former Piston Cup champion and mentor to Lightning McQueen.
Right, and so if you can change a ghost town into a real town, I think he'll have no problem disposing of a ghost bike.
That's an excellent point.
I don't buy it. I still think Herbie's too. I mean, Herbie might be mischievous.
Herbie is definitely mischievous,
but I don't think it's malicious, and it's just not as cutthroat as the Ghost Rider bike. I think the Ghost Rider bike would shank Herbie first chance he got.
Well, I don't know.
I
still think Herbie would win.
The Ghost Rider bike seems like a pot of coffee by day, bottle of wine by night kind of guy.
So really? Are we thinking about the same bike? We're not talking about the Ghost moped. We're talking about the Ghost motorcycle.
Listen, the Ghost Rider motorcycle.
Okay, a bottle of Jack.
Whiskey straight up.
Right, yeah.
Sure,
out of the bottle.
Okay. Well,
just pours it right into his tank.
right down the gullet.
But the Ghost Rider bike seems like the kind of guy who would be covered in... I mean, he seems like... At the root of every bad boy is a completely emotional cripple, of an inept person. So, because the Ghost Rider guy is probably somebody who's got tattooed on his ass, like if you can't handle me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best. So like that. Or like one of those things like I'm loyal and calm, but mess with me or my families and I'll fuck you up, that kind of thing.
And that lends credence to Tim's argument about Herbie not wanting to fight because it's the love bug. It might break the Ghost Rider cycle down mentally.
I think. Well, I think if all things being equal, we'd have to go with the operator. And so if you take the average person driving Herbie the Love Bug and Ghost Rider's winning that fight every time.
Yeah, but I don't think so because
all things being equal on those two vehicles, which they're pretty close.
Yeah, but Herbie doesn't need an operator, and neither does the Ghost Rider motorcycle.
Right. So all things being equal, if you put those two head to head, and you just could not get a clear-cut winner, you would have to go to the operator as the tiebreaker.
Yeah, but Nicolas Cage is not the tiebreaker.
He is when he's got the Declaration of Independence.
He doesn't, though, anymore. And I mean,
we took it back from him.
Give it back to him.
No, we've already been over this. He doesn't deserve it anymore. He stole a T-Rex body.
He gave it back.
Not the T-Rex.
After he got caught.
Yeah. Well, and?
So
I don't understand what the problem is.
Because I can't trust the man if the quintessential essence of the Declaration of Independence is freedom and he's trying to steal it.
He wasn't trying to steal it. He was trying to disseminate it to the people.
That's not what he was trying to do.
No, he wanted it for the treasure.
You saw what you wanted to see, and I see what I want to see, and I want to see him disseminating it for the people.
Look, I realize it's hard when you make big life changes because I too used to be a big Nick Cage Declaration supporter.
Give it back to him.
Give it back to him. No, I bumped that a lot in this show, but
I know.
But
you got me on board.
But eventually,
you got me on this goddamn train, and I'm not getting off of it.
But eventually, there are certain things that fly in the face of empirical evidence, and one of those is that Nicolas Cage is a decent human being. So he could not. It doesn't. I mean, what's he gonna do? Try and chain Herbie up with that fucking chain that he whips around? The Ghost Rider bike doesn't even respect him.
He will give Herbie the penance stare.
The penance stare.
Herbie doesn't have eyes for him to look into.
The headlights.
Those aren't eyes.
Then how the fuck does Herbie know where he's going?
Herbie can sense it.
Herbie's not real.
Herbie's magical.
That's bullshit.
Neither is the Ghost Rider bike.
Yeah.
It's not the Black Pearl. Calm down, Jack Sparrow. It's not just out there.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Captain of what? He didn't have a ship at the time.
At what time?
At the time when he said Captain Jack Sparrow. the whole first movie when everybody calls him Jack Sparrow or pirate and he says Captain, he didn't have a ship.
That's true. Black Pearl wasn't back in his possession yet.
Look, we're getting lost in the weeds here.
Are we?
I think
yes.
This is
because I think all of this is relevant to Herbie versus the Ghost Rider motorcycle.
Okay, so you really want to give the win on this to Herbie?
I think Herbie takes it.
Okay.
Whether it's psychologically or just through sheer
his own penance stare
prowess.
I'm gonna give it to Herbie as well because if Naruto's taught me anything, it's that you can be as badass as you want to be, but at the end, kindness, few kind words, and a good heart wins everything.
That's deep. I like that.
That's good.
All right, well, we're gonna move to the next one, so we'll go ahead and give the win to the Ghost Rider bike. Okay, so I've been thinking about this all of the last 90 seconds. And so here's what I'm going to do here.
I'm glad you take the show seriously.
Is it the Declaration of Independence versus the Magna Carta? Is that what you're
No, that's good. Actually, the Declaration of Independence versus Nick Cage. No. Speed Racer.
Oh, sticking with the car theme.
Versus Mario from Mario Kart.
But in his cart or just Mario?
In his cart.
Ooh.
Speed Racer.
On that for a minute.
No, Speed Racer.
You think so?
Mario Kart is the slowest kart in the world.
Even with the blue shell?
He can use the blue shell over and over, but every single time he has to get it and then shoot it when he is going 3 miles an hour.
Those 150cc classes are not going 3 miles an hour.
Those go-karts go upwards of 75, 80 miles an hour.
They were competing on Toad's Freeway. Yeah, and passing cars. They're not going 3 miles an hour.
Bro, when the map is 3 inches long on the screen and it takes you 4 minutes to finish a race, that's slow.
Yeah, but it's not to scale.
Right. So
I'm basing my
blue shell.
I'm just gonna say that
red shell.
The go-kart from Mario Kart that he's driving is obviously a racing go-kart.
Yes.
But it's still like go-kart.
Yeah, but those guys in real life that operate those go-karts, they have to wear flame retardant outfits and helmets and get strapped into them because those things are fucking crazy. And so if Mario's just riding it in his overalls,
right, like a badass,
he's even more crazy. And so I don't know if Speed Racer can hold up.
I don't think he can,
especially if he's got the monkey and the little boy in his trunk.
That's true. They're always causing mischief. Yeah.
Are we talking about who would win a race or win in a fight?
A fight.
A head-to-head fight on Blockfort. The greatest head-to-head versus map of all time.
Okay, well, but then obviously Mario would win just from the sheer...
It's right.
It's not right.
Dude, Mario would win on the sheer sense that his car is built to get those weapons and shoot those weapons. Speed Racer's car can't do that.
No, well, Speed Racer's car is kind of like the Go-Go Gadget Mobile because it's got all kinds of
it can jump,
fancy stuff in it. It can jump. It's got oil slicks and jacks that they drop out the back of it, pop tires and stuff.
Yeah, but that won't kill someone though.
Well, neither is a blue shell.
Yeah, but a blue shell will bomb him and make him tumble. I'm just thinking, in the realm of the game, racing-wise, Speed Racer would win.
We're talking about real life.
This is IRL, bro. In real life.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they're racing head-to-head, then it's not even an edge. I mean, Speed Racer wins 10 out of 10 times. But if you're doing a battle
Yeah.
to the death, then Mario
Yeah.
will win.
Is it to the death?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Mario's
just
the
felt
Stone
like we
Cold
needed
Killer.
to establish that.
Yeah. Speed Racer don't have it in him.
Mario's not the Stone Cold. Luigi is. You guys have seen Luigi's death stare after he hits somebody with a shell.
That's very true. That's very true. But Mario is kind of a douche.
Mario is kind of pretentious.
Yes. Like if you look at like in Mario Tennis,
Oh, yeah.
like he steps on Luigi's foot and laughs at him, and
Right.
he's always overshadowing his little brother.
In any way that he can.
Yeah. And in the original Mario game, if you read the instruction booklet, it says that Koopa turned all of the toads into bricks. And then he's just running around willy-nilly breaking bricks. Killing toads, man.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So he's Stone Cold Killer.
Then, definitely Mario. Stone Cold Killer.
Yeah,
I like that.
okay. All right.
More than I thought.
I think Speed Racer.
What? Now you're saying it just to be contradictory.
No, I never tipped my hand at all on that one.
How Speed Racer win in this fight?
Okay, think about who Speed Racer's brother is. Racer X, right?
Okay.
So Speed Racer has a similar complex that Luigi has. And so in essence, mentally, it's like overshadowing Big Brother versus the underdog little brother.
But in this case, Professor X would be Mario and Speed Racer would be Luigi.
Right, and I think that if
So
Luigi
doesn't
Mario,
have it in him.
Luigi does.
Nah.
It's buried deep inside of him because he's on acid most of the time. But
He's on shrooms.
I was going to say, we've all seen his Super Smash from Brawl.
Right.
Where he just gets everybody trapped in an acid trip and then beats them up.
Right.
But I'm saying Speed Racer wants to make Racer X proud, and Mario is standing in the way of that. And so metaphorically, while making Racer X his actual brother proud, he can also take out that rage of being the overshadowed younger brother on a similar entity.
I don't buy it.
No, well,
because no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that like we've already proven that Mario's a Stone Cold Killer, and
he's a sociopath.
And for somebody who's like just desperately seeking attention, I mean, maybe he'd snap and have a midlife crisis at some point down the road, but right now he's just a little bitch. And also, second of all, even if he hurt Mario, the man's also a doctor. He can just heal himself, bandage it up, and keep going.
That's very true.
That's true.
Amongst other things. I mean, he's a
well-renowned
guy.
The man's a golfer, so he's patient.
Golfer.
I mean, he plays tennis, so he's dangerous.
He's got some agility there.
Yeah. I mean, he plays soccer, so he's got stamina.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Super Mario Strikers.
And the dude knows how to party.
Oh my God, he knows how to party.
He knows how to party. So, I mean, he's got it all without that little thing called feelings getting in the way.
That's true. He is a sociopath.
It's going to be our first agreement. Are we all going to agree together?
Yeah. It's got to be Mario, man.
All right.
Yeah, Bobby?
Yeah, I was trying to
Mario.
think of something that might give Speed Racer the edge, but
Well, like I said, I'll give you a
he really
caveat.
doesn't have it.
In a
He doesn't really
race,
have it.
I think Speed Racer would win.
Well, yeah, because the Mach 5 that he drives?
Yeah.
It's-
But even then, Mario's just going to just drive down a pipe because he's also a plumber and just warp to the end.
So he's a cheat.
Yeah. Sociopath, remember? He doesn't care.
Yeah.
No,
that's-
but if he tried
that's
to, that's
exactly why
when
he would win.
Racer X would show up and stop him, though, and save the day.
Maybe.
That's very true. Okay. So,
That's
Speed
so
Racer
crazy.
wins.
The similar Racer X is kind of like the Itachi of the Speed Racer cartoon.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Natachi?
Itachi is from
Nitachi.
Oh, Naruto? Okay, I got you.
Naruto.
Naruto. Hey, I don't know.
Did you guys give Boruto a shot yet?
No, I did not. But hey, did you know something, Tim? That the whole time that you've been making fun of it, that it actually is Naruto. We've just been saying Naruto, so you'll be saying it correctly the whole time.
Sweet.
Yeah,
I love Naruto.
yeah, it's a great show.
What show is it?
Naruto.
Yeah, there it is. How much did that hurt?
I'm,
you said it through gritted teeth.
I'm holding my hand on top of a burner right now.
I'm gonna beat this test.
Well, how do you? I can't believe you just succumbed that easily.
Oh, he was trying to
Being a
use
fan
reverse
that you were.
psychology. It wasn't gonna work.
I jested a little too hard with the jester.
I'm the king of reverse psychology.
Are
Or
you?
not.
Are you?
God.
All right, so that was mine. So Bobby, you got another one? Brent, you got another one? Someone got another one?
I'm sure we could make like a ton of ridiculous ones, but will we have any real ones off the top of our head? We could just start listing off ridiculous ones.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys are familiar with the PlayStation controller, right?
Yes.
Okay. The X button versus the circle button.
Okay, that's absurd. I'm not even gonna.
Really? Not even gonna dignify that, huh?
No.
I mean, I'm partial to the circle, but that's just me.
Isn't the X button supposed to be the square button?
No, square's on the left. X
Yeah.
is on the bottom.
For an Xbox controller.
Oh, we're not talking about a goddamn Xbox controller. You take that goddamn bullshit down somewhere else. Take that shit to Snopes. You want to talk about the Xbox controller?
I thought you were talking about a specific button on a PlayStation controller versus a specific button on an Xbox controller.
Ooh, I like this. Okay, so the X button would be the equivalent to the
X button.
B button. Isn't the B button on the bottom?
No, the B button is the red.
It's the right one. The A button is the bottom one, the green one.
Yeah.
Oh, so the A button.
A button.
So A button versus the X button.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
it'd be A. Yeah. God damn it! When you say the X,
Okay,
throw me the fuck off.
Okay, well I'm gonna go with the X on this one.
there's an X.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. So then I can say the cross button.
Yes.
We can do the cross.
That feels weird though.
It does feel weird, but I'm gonna go with it. So the cross versus the A. I'm gonna go with the cross on this one because it's just gonna X that A right out. Done. Next. Anybody got a different one?
Next.
It's fucking Xbox. It loses every time.
But what generation controller are we talking about here? Because the original Xbox
Controller was
first
hot
generation,
street trash.
It was huge.
It felt like it was 16 pounds of broken dreams.
It was enormous. Oh my god.
God damn it! All right, what do you think? What do you think wins in my heart? Going to see my favorite soccer team play on Saturday, or going to my cousin's birthday party?
We already know who wins that battle.
Well, let us know how the soccer match turns out.
See you on Sunday.
Well, let's see how much my heart's breaking, right? That my cousin's going to the soccer match, or my cousin's going to the soccer match. It's breaking either way. It's broken.
It's broken.
But
Yeah,
but I
it's
went
got a
to
big cross on it.
I went to Snow Classico last weekend. That shit was crazy. No one
gives
knows
a shit.
No one knows what the fuck that even is.
No one gives
I
a
know
shit.
what it is.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's get this all on the table right now. Okay, I've got one. Famed ignorant ranters host Tim versus not as famed, but a little bit of famed ignorant ranters host Bobby.
The thing is that I mean,
To the death.
any way you spin it, I will win.
Well, hold on.
Because I've definitely got broken dreams.
You
and
know,
desperation.
you know, you're one of my favorite people in all of the world, Bobby. My best friend of almost 10 years now.
Where you
Tim's got
going
a lot
with
more
this?
on the line than you do.
It's very true.
He's got like a family.
I've been
That-
desperate for years.
That he doesn't care about.
What?
I think that
That's not true. I
That's
care
just
about
a-
66% of the kids in there.
that's just a front he puts up. He's got a family.
All right, Dr. Cox.
I would lay down
he's
my
been-
life for 2/3 of the kids in there. I don't let them know which one's falling that 1/3 mark. I am definitely 88% committed to my girlfriend. I mean, that's high B's, man.
That's high B's. You're right. But
B plus.
All right. Well, what about crippling depression versus Cleveland's economy?
What about Cleveland's economy versus Detroit's post-apocalyptic state? What about Detroit's post-apocalyptic state versus The Walking Dead's Atlanta? I think Detroit wins. I really do.
Let's say, what about the lead detective on Detroit's police force versus Mad Max?
Mad Max. Oh, the Detroit detective's winning every time.
He's seen some shit.
What
about the Detroit's lead detective versus Ice-T from SVU?
And just to throw a curveball in there, the redhead guy from CSI Miami.
Oh, fucking Dave Caruso?
David Caruso.
Who just pops his fucking sunglasses off and goes, no, that's some shit. No.
What do you got?
I got a lot, but I don't think
We'll
I'll,
go.
fucking
I
throw
mean,
it.
we were just firing off.
No,
Yeah.
because I don't know if I want
Finger
to share
popping
them.
your
I don't know if I
asshole.
want to share them with you jesters because you guys will make fun of me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, fuck's sake. Grow a backbone.
How does one grow a backbone?
Well,
I don't know,
first,
but
it starts with stem cells, and then
You go to Hogwarts and get some Skelegro.
Woo! I almost made a Hogwarts reference earlier, but you know what? I held off because I wanted you to have the glory.
Thank you.
All right, fucker. No, check this out. What about the earthquake from San Andreas versus the volcano from Dante's Peak?
Oh my god!
What about the
Oh wait, I want
volcano-
to really talk about that one.
The
'cause that's a
volcano
good
from
one.
Dante's Peak versus the volcano from Volcano.
That's the same thing. It's the same volcano. It's
It's
a little
not.
known fact.
What?
Dante's Peak is set in the past, and then Volcano is set in the future. It's the same volcano. They're making the same mistake over again.
But Dante's Peak is in Washington and Volcano's in L.A.
No, it's not. It's the same place.
What about
It's the same volcano.
what about the earthquake from San Andreas versus the weather change from Day After Tomorrow?
Well, definitely the weather change. That just destroyed the
weather
fucking
change.
world.
That's gonna freeze everything. But the volcano from Dante's Peak versus the earthquake from San Andreas intrigues me because we have two situations here. Okay, the first one involves Pierce Brosnan warning everyone and no one believing him,
Okay.
and the second one involves Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson cleaning up the mess.
Okay. If we count Volcano, Tommy Lee Jones is also cleaning up the mess.
Tommy Lee Jones is a little bit of both, actually. He's warning people, but then he's having to clean up the mess after all because his daughter gets involved. It's a whole thing.
It's a thing.
But
I remember I was there.
I think, man, this is tough. I think the volcano from Dante's Peak.
Of course it does.
Oh, and here's why. Okay,
Of course it does.
so the San Andreas Fault, it splits.
Right.
There's a huge earthquake. It's
happens.
swallowing things into it. Right. But the volcano with a well-timed eruption can spew liquid hot magma.
Magma. Such a good word.
Magma. And
Hold on. Magma.
Magma.
Okay, go ahead.
But I'm excited about this. This is like a battle royale right now. The volcano's there, the San Andreas earthquake is there, but also The Rock is there and Pierce Brosnan is there.
Right.
So once they get Pierce Brosnan out of the mine shaft that he saved everybody by driving into from the ash, then The Rock and Pierce Brosnan team up with the volcano. Boom, plot twist, to super cool the liquid hot magma from the volcano and fill in all the cracks that the San Andreas Fault
So they
causes.
saved everybody.
Hell.
They save everyone.
So what if we added the Twister from Twister?
As long as Helen Hunt's not there because she's annoying.
No, because in a deleted scene, a cow came flying out of nowhere and hit her and killed her.
It happens in slow-mo. The others, each of them just slap her one at a time.
Just grabbing her face like a hand. Just pulls her off to the side. Okay, so
that's how that goes down.
that
That entire scenario that I just laid out.
Okay, so that's good. But in a twist, not including the Twister, an untwister, if you will. The Earth core stops spinning like in the core.
Oh my god.
Yeah, now we're getting into some shit.
What if the crew from Danny Boyle's film, instead of being sent into space to restart the sun, they have to go restart the core, and the crew from the core with Aaron Eckhart has to go into space to restart the sun.
Well, Aaron Eckhart wins that every time. But
by himself.
But in another untwist twister, the aliens from Independence Day show up and they blow up the moon.
The moon?
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing.
Yeah, and that's going to ruin the tides.
While the Transformers were on it.
Not all of them, though, right?
No. Some of the other ones were hanging out and having a good time at Shia LaBeouf's house.
I was just saying Shia LaBeouf's frat party. Bumblebee was there playing beer pong.
Okay, all right. So that's
I got one more for you though that I want some good debate for.
Hit us with it.
Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport.
Ooh.
Okay, that's a good one.
Versus
Put up your Dukes.
versus Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, Jack Black's tough.
He's got that whole, like, dunce thing going for him as Kung Fu Panda. Not that he's a dunce necessarily, but the character Kung Fu Panda kind of just stumbles around.
I would much rather put the Kung Fu Panda versus the dude from Kung Pao.
But that's not a thing right now.
Sure.
We're debating the Kung Fu Panda versus Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Well, there's not really a debate. I just
Jean-Claude
wanted to
Van
throw it out
Damme
there.
wins that fight.
Yeah.
Jean-Claude Van Damme from Bloodsport wins every fight except for one against Chuck Norris, which is untouchable. We all know this.
I don't think you're right. I think that Kung Fu Panda wins that fight against Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme beat up fake Bruce Lee.
Okay, who trained Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport?
No one.
He had like one trainer,
the
right?
one sensei, the blind sensei.
The one blind sensei.
Was he blind? I don't know if that's a
That
thing.
was
He
a
was
master
definitely
of... I think
blind.
What?
He's He was definitely blind because that's how when he got the sand through in his eyes at the end of the movie, he was able to win.
Oh, Score. I don't even remember that movie. Okay, so the blind sense.
Total gimmick that wouldn't happen in real life. But
that's not true. It happened in real life. It's based on a true story.
Jean-Claude Van Damme in that from Bloodsport is a master of one martial art.
Okay.
Kung Fu Panda is a master of Kung Fu, which is a combination of different styles.
Right.
So all he has to do is make like the Karate Kid and switch from one style to another, and Jean-Claude Van Damme can't even handle it.
Right, but it's
Plus,
still
Kung Fu Panda's fluffy and overweight and pudgy.
But Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport, Frank Dukes was a master of Jeet Kune Do, which cannot be beat by anything.
That's not even a real martial art.
I don't know if that's true.
It's
not even a real martial art.
It is a real martial art.
It's not.
He was a
Is
master.
that the one that Bruce Lee invented?
He's the master of the gentle fist.
Oh, the one that would hit you and knock you back into a chair and serve you tea at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yes.
even if he is the master of the gentle fist,
Okay.
And he is.
Kung Fu Panda is the Dragon Warrior, for starters, which is the end-all be-all.
Edric
Kung Fu.
is the Dragon Warrior.
No,
Thank you.
no, he's not.
Oh,
he
yes,
just
he
rides
is.
a dragon, that's it.
What?
Now,
What?
Kung Fu Panda...
Edric.
I can't even keep going.
Okay.
can't even
Hold on.
keep going.
Okay, so now you just remind me. Okay, here's a good one. Mel Gibson as William Wallace versus Mel Gibson as the Patriot. It's tough. One lost his wife, one lost his son.
Which side has
One
more...
you couldn't take his life or his freedom, and the other one you couldn't take either as well.
Do either sides have any Jews on them?
I don't think so.
Fair enough.
I think the Mel Gibson for the Patriot wins because I mean it's not the best equipment, but he's got Civil War era weapons, whereas William Wallace just has a broadsword.
I think they'd be best friends.
Revolutionary War.
I thought it was Civul War stuff.
No, Revolutionary War stuff.
It's been a long time since.
He's still fighting with the French, man.
Either way, he's got
Sucking it, blue!
a musket-loaded rifle.
That's very true.
Against a broadsword.
I had a professor in college who used to pose this question all the time. He's like, you have 300 of the most battle-hardened Spartans to ever live, and they still will lose to one Marine because he's got guns.
Because he's got guns. Yeah, but if all 300 Spartans swarmed him at one time...
I think the Marine still wins.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, we're not talking about an army, dude. We're talking about a Marine. I can say that I was in the Air Force. You're welcome.
No, dude. There's nothing in the world is more annoying than... I'm going to settle really quick for you. The battle of the military branches, because they all have certain purposes, but nothing is more annoying than the fucking Marines, because those guys think that they're God's gift to everything in the world, and they're typically some of the dumbest fucking people I've ever met, who are quick to fight and slow to use their head and get the shit kicked out of them all the time.
Semper Fi.
Yeah. Hoorah.
Hoorah.
Fucking losers.
Bunch of jarheads.
Okay, so...
William Wallace
They would be best friends.
versus the Highlander.
Oh, well, I mean...
which one? Adrian Duncan or Christopher Lambert?
Christopher Lambert.
McLeod! Definitely the Highlander.
McLeod. Yeah, I think the Highlander wins that fight.
Highlander?
Yeah.
Unless he accidentally cut his head
Although,
off.
if in a twist, we find out that William Wallace was a Highlander himself.
Ooh.
And then I think he would be the one to rule them all.
Yeah, but what if while they're clashing, Merida from Brave shows up?
Okay,
Because
so
she's also in Scotland.
I'm going to admit something. I'm going to admit a couple different things. Some of them triumphant, some of them sad.
Okay.
But I stand by all of them.
All right.
I've never seen Brave.
Good man.
I do watch Once Upon a Time, and she was on Once Upon a Time for several episodes, and I fucking hated her. And every episode she was in, I wish she would die.
Okay. No, I understand your feelings.
Okay.
And they're your feelings, so
Yes,
I'm
they
not
are.
going to tell you that they're wrong.
They're a mixture of my...
But Merida, portrayed
feelings.
on Once Upon a Time, is
Broken
not
dreams.
Merida from Brave.
It's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be, but I think that they do a poor job in translating her character from the Pixar movie Brave over
because
to
she
the show.
sucks.
In the
Once
movie,
Upon a Time, or OUAT, as I call it.
OUAT. She's definitely... Well, that's an interesting fight. Merida from Brave or Merida versus OUAT.
I wish they would both just kill each other.
Just at the same time, just both release the arrow perfectly.
Oh, speaking of, that's a good matchup, though, because that also makes me think Kevin Costner's Robin Hood versus Russell Crowe's Robin Hood. versus Carrie Elwes's Robin Hood.
You really pronounce his name Elwes? Not Yules?
Nope, Elwes.
All right, well, all right.
Is it Yules?
It's Yules, yes.
Well, that sounds way better than Elwes.
Right?
Let's go. So what if we did Yules versus Elwes? I think Yules wins that one. All right. So
Okay.
Carrie Yules.
When we're talking about archers, I was thinking like we could go like DC Marvel on this and do like Hawkeye versus Green Arrow.
Green Arrow wins that every time.
You think so?
I think Speedy beats Hawkeye.
Hawkeye is a bit of a pushover.
Yeah.
All right, before this...
I think Artemis beats Hawkeye.
Yeah, but Artemis is
A badass,
just
we know.
a smoking hot badass.
That's very true.
All right,
What were you gonna say? Sorry,
before
dicks were getting hard over here over Artemis.
right.
Excuse me.
Before we dive too head first in the superhero things, then I'm gonna change the subject really quickly.
Now, I've been trying to avoid the superheroes because that felt like low-hanging fruit to me.
It was definitely, but we started talking about archers, and I couldn't help myself.
That's
All
very
right, here. The evil queen from the 10th Kingdom, Snow White's mom, versus the fairy godmother from Shrek.
She was a badass. Didn't she do kung fu or something in one of those?
A little bit, but she also needed a hero.
That's true. That's very true. Oh, now I remember the
evil
She was a
queen
bitch.
killed the goblin general by poisoning him with an apple.
Well, what if we also added the evil queen from Oyuat? Because she definitely killed her dad and burned his heart just to curse everybody else. That's kind of badass.
Yeah, but the evil queen from 10th Kingdom was actively trying and very willing to kill her daughter to make sure she would have the throne for another 10 years before she died from natural causes. That's how much it meant to her.
That's more or less Oyuat's evil queen.
Sure.
I think they're the same
They
character.
might be related. They might be sisters.
I think
Well,
they're
one
the
is-
same
least-
character.
I think they're
Snow White's
sisters.
mom.
I think they're related in the same way that Kylo Ren and Rey are related. They're siblings.
No, they're not.
They are.
They're not.
They are.
They're not.
Oh, they are.
They're not.
They are.
They're not.
They are.
They're not.
And we'll be right back.
Brother versus cousin. Brother and sister versus cousins. Brother and sister wins every time
No.
because
They're cousins,
they're
bro.
united.
They're cousins.
Just saying. It's a thing that happens.
Yeah, cousins can be united too.
Not even.
That's why they're called
He won't
kissing
even come to
cousins.
my birthday party. He wants to
I
go
was
to
going
a
to say,
soccer
we've
match.
all seen Arrested Development.
No, it's because soccer is beautiful.
Yeah, play beautiful, man.
I'm beautiful.
But I'm gonna see you literally the next evening, so I thought I could get both of best of both.
But that will be outside the context of my birthday party.
not when I
Doesn't have to
say
be.
not when I say happy belated birthday as soon as I walk in.
And I'm going to be like, oh, there you are. I was wondering if you were going to show up because when I blew out my birthday cake and had my one wish, it was that my cousin would be here for my birthday party. And you didn't show up, so I thought my wishes weren't coming true.
And then I would tell you that you deserve to have it fail because if you're still pulling that fifth grade shit, then I hope every single one of your wishes don't come true.
Well, listen here, Mr. Blackheart. I still have dreams, unlike you and your broken dreams over there.
What you need to do, if you really love me and you really cared, you would make your wish that I have some sort of some clarity before the match starts. Because I have half mind to wear my Sounders jersey and Rapids jersey and just keep changing them off depending on who's winning. So just make your birthday wish for me to have a good time, man.
Birthday wishes versus wishing well wishes.
Well,
I would say birthday wishes because, I mean, to me, that would just be a super selfish thing to ask somebody to use their birthday wish to make you have a good time.
Yeah,
I mean, that just sounds like a low thing to do.
but I'm only
Like,
asking
that
you
just
that.
sounds like some real heartless, just some real kick in the balls kind of thing to do. That's
Yeah, but
what
I just went down to a wishing well, and I wish that you would have the best birthday ever. So I used my wish on you, and I'm just asking for a little help back, bro.
Well, your wish didn't work because you're not going to be there.
Oh, boo.
It's a little bit of a paradox there.
Yeah, it is. This whole world exploded.
I was going to say, it's a good thing none of us are artificial intelligent machines because
It's like immediately shut down.
we'd be done right
So
now.
what about Haley Joel Osment from AI versus Terminator?
I was going to say Haley Joel Osment from AI versus Haley Joel Osment from The Sixth Sense.
The Sixth Sense.
Versus
How about-
Haley Joel Osment from the Entourage movie.
Oh, how about versus Haley Joel Osment from Kingdom Hearts?
Wow, man.
Sora's the shit.
Sora is badass.
Kingdom Hearts
I
3 is
was
coming out
thinking
this
about
year.
Kingdom Hearts when you said Heartless. It made me think of it.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what if we did this segment versus taking a break?
I think taking a break wins.
We'll be right back with some more ignorant rants. Ha! Snuck it in there.
we're back. Thank you all for.
Okay, so I'm excited. Brent, are you excited?
I'm stoked, Tim.
Okay, I'm super stoked. Bobby,
Could-
it does
could-
not look that excited.
Couldn't give a fuck less.
But that's because he doesn't know Brent.
I mean, we're kind of forcing this upon him, so.
But he needs this.
Does he need it?
He needs it.
I don't know that he does.
I think he does.
Like-
are you on board with this or not?
I'm on board with it.
He needs it then.
I need
But
it
I've
like a
gotta-
hole in my head.
I'm in a weird situation where I've got to like have his back, but also be excited at the same time.
No.
No.
In this case, in this very instance, you need my back. Ah, damn! I almost pulled it off, and not his.
Okay.
He needs this
He just tried to do a magic trick cigarette at me, and it failed miserably.
miserably. I don't know about miserably.
Dude, that magic trick was just full of pomp and circumstance
and broken dreams. Okay, so we're gonna give you guys a small taste. We're gonna put a small taste in your ear holes this week.
Okay.
And we are gonna talk about Game of Thrones.
Bum bum bum.
Because
Spoilers.
spoilers.
Yeah.
I fucking love Game of Thrones. Brent, do you love Game of Thrones?
I absolutely love Game of Thrones.
You love Game of Thrones. Ah,
Dude, it's been one of my favorite
I tried
shows
the
for.
magic trick again, and it failed again.
It's
failed again.
been one of my favorite shows for a long time now. I'm pretty excited that we're starting to talk about it finally on the show.
Okay, good. We're going to talk about season 1, so you can jump in at any time.
Yeah.
So we are actually going to hopefully launch a new sideshow.
We're trying.
We're trying very hard.
It's like herding cats over here.
Honestly, it's proven to be very difficult. And I'm making a lot of noise. I shouldn't be doing that. So,
Yeah, I thought we were past that.
so grow up. Do this show like an adult.
Like an adult.
So we're gonna try to spin off a new show, and it's gonna be an ignorant rant of ice and fire. And each week we are gonna recap, full of spoilers, each new episode of season 6 that comes out. But we got to get you caught up. We got to get you caught up on this. And so we are gonna
Not me. Don't look at me. And
Well,
say
I
that.
said we. We got to get Bobby caught up on this.
There you go.
And we got to get you, the people, listening to this.
We the people.
No, we've seen it. You, the people, have not seen it.
No, he's talking about the Constitution.
I imagine some
man.
of them
But
have.
I'm also people.
But you're not the people I'm addressing.
You're not robots.
Are you intent on fucking this show up?
Maybe just a little bit.
We got to get you caught up. So we're going to give you a small teaser here. We're going to give you a small taste. We are going to explain to Bobby season 1 of Game of Thrones.
Has he seen season 1 of Game of Thrones?
Bobby?
Probably like 10 times by 0.
So no.
So no times.
No, you know.
Right.
None times.
No, there was an evening in which I so regretfully spent with a member of this show, Steve, where he very drunkenly went through on HBO and showed me like highlights from like the first 4 or 5 seasons. In about an hour, he just kept showing me random scenes and being like, "This is so fucking cool," and yeah.
It didn't do anything for you.
That was the extent of my thing. Well, it was more. It would have been hard to get into anyway because if I had no interest before, now he has shown me what I imagine is every big important part of the first 5 seasons. So
Right.
yeah,
Okay. Well, you just stop us if you heard it.
yeah, all right.
So we're going to talk about. So we're going to do right now. And we're going to spend time. We're going to redo season 1. We're going to go over season 1. We're going to release another episode later on this week. Actually, by the time you hear this, probably this weekend. That's going to be seasons 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to get them all together.
He's choking on it. Over
And
there.
then just be
Come on,
prepared.
swallow.
After the new season debuts, we're going to do a show for each episode that comes out and talk about it.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
You on board with this?
Yeah, I mean,
Why wouldn't you be? Can you act excited about it?
I'm part of the show.
God damn it, Brent.
Look at me doing things.
You're holding me. You're holding me down right now.
Nuh-uh.
Okay, season 1,
Season 1.
Game of Thrones.
All right,
It's a big show.
I've already heard this part.
Okay, first 5 minutes of the show, you're introduced to the Night's Watch. They're people who walk a big wall and make sure that people on one side don't get to the other side.
The wall is also made of ice.
It's made of ice.
It's man-made.
700 feet high.
Jesus.
Like 300 miles long.
Okay. So it's the Great Wall of China.
It
Right.
spans the whole continent.
Yeah, made of ice.
So the whole continent is literally divided in half by the Berlin Wall.
No, this is at the top of the continent. It's up at the very far north.
There's
it's at the
some
north.
If you're picture like North and South America but with a wall at the top of Canada that is like separating the Arctic Circle from the rest of
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
So there's a kingdom that lives in the ice, and it's segregated from everyone else.
No.
Or it's just a wall.
You could call it that.
They're wild people.
They're called wildlings. There's also some other entities that live up there, but we'll probably get onto that later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got these people called the Night's Watch.
You lost me.
They're black brothers.
Black brothers?
They wear all black.
They wear all black.
So this show is racist.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're people dressed in black walking on a white wall.
So are they in blackface?
No.
Yes. They do wear blackface.
Okay, I follow you. The Night's Watch. The Night's Watch. Not the Nice Watch, which is what I initially thought you said.
No, night.
No, night.
Like
as in the darkest night.
Nighttime.
Yep.
Because the night is dark and full of terrors.
Yes, it is.
They patrol this to keep the wildlings out. They're also, at this point in history of Westeros, which is the whole area.
The continent that they're on.
A lot of things like White Walkers have fallen into myth status, and nobody believes that they're a real thing anymore. But they're very much a real thing, and that wall is also keeping them out.
Think like zombies with intelligence.
Ice zombies that can...
Oh, that's good. Ice zombies with intelligence.
That can think and talk.
I've played Plants vs. Zombies. I'm familiar.
Okay, good. So, first 5 minutes of the show, you see the Night's Watch. A couple guys going north of the wall, kind of patrolling around. They get jumped, killed.
They're jumped by White Walkers.
Yeah, that were myths, but they're real.
Sure. So you know they're real.
And scary.
They're very scary.
They got glowing blue eyes.
You can't defeat them except for with dragon glass, which is what they call
obsidian.
But
no one knows that right now. All we know is that they're here. It is not a game. They are here and they are real.
So does the first 5 minutes, or like the first 4 minutes and 59 seconds until they get jumped, is it them, like they set the stage by like it's like a cold night and they're joking about these White Walker things and being like, ha ha ha, you'll be attacked by this, and some guy's like, ha ha ha, those aren't real?
No, it's actually middle of the day, and they're like, hey, is there something scary out here? And the guy's like, don't be a bitch. We're fucking brothers of the Night's Watch, and there's nothing out here to be scared of.
But in that group, it's not all brothers. One of them is a random dude.
No, he's a new member of the Night's Watch. That was Raymar Royce.
Raymore, yeah.
I like this.
So he comes across
arrogant.
A group of wildlings that have been savagely and brutally murdered and dismembered.
Yep.
And their body parts are laid out into
a very specific pattern.
Some sort of symbol.
That doesn't mean anything to anybody.
On the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so he sees this and he goes back to tell the other two that this is there. So they kind of make fun of him.
Yep. Could be a little bitch.
And then they go over there and all of it's gone. All the bodies, everybody's gone. And so
it's setting up kind of a mystical part of them where they're otherworldly, if you will.
If they kill you, you become one of them, basically, which is the zombie aspect of it.
Sure.
So they go there and everybody's gone. And the guy's like, ha ha ha, did your dead bodies get up and walk away? And then you see this little girl, because children are always the creepiest.
It's very true.
Show up with glassy blue eyes and runs them all down. And another giant, like the king of them or whatever, cuts somebody's head off. And so one of them escapes. One of the three guys escapes, and that's where we pick up.
So that's the show. So that's the beginning of the show. First 5 minutes.
It hits hard, heavy.
Yeah, we're hitting the ground running here.
All right.
So now we're going to Winterfell. Winterfell is the name of a castle in the north. It is the home of the Warden of the North. He's the guy that the king appoints to oversee things up in the north.
In the north, below the wall.
Below the wall. So.
Yep.
Because that's the kingdom.
Is it presumable that everything that takes place now will be below this wall?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is the 7 kingdoms brought together by a war that happens that you hear about throughout the show.
Yes.
And then there's the king in King's Landing, which is the capital city of all the 7 kingdoms of Westeros. And all of that is below the wall.
Yes.
But it's kind of divided by north and south. And there's something called the Neck, and then a river that separates it.
Well, they're divided by kingdoms, and the north is its own kingdom. And then you've got the Vale, and the Reach, and the Trident, and Dorne, and Highgarden, and how many was that? 5, 6? What's this one up here? That's the Vale.
I can't remember the name of the 7th one.
Yeah, there's 7 of them.
Anyway, King's Landing is the city equivalent to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, or Coruscant. if you will.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're in Winterfell, which is the keep in the north where the Warden of the North,
Yes.
who's appointed by the king in King's Landing,
Yes.
to live and rule the
Yes.
North. The Warden of the North is Ned Stark.
He's the man.
He's played by
Sean Bean. Who's the man?
So you might guess his fate based on the actor's credentials,
Right.
But it's him and his wife Catelyn are watching their sons teach their youngest brother archery skills, and then
so they've got
a lot of kids,
3 boys and 2 girls,
and then there's a 4th boy who is a warden of Ned's, but he's actually the son of somebody who rules the Iron Islands. So he's from a different,
that's the 7th Kingdom, the Iron Islands.
The Iron Islands. He's from a different family, but during that war that we talked about, Ned Stark took him in as his warden.
As a hostage.
Basically
what he was.
It starts out as a hostage, but then he kind of grows to be part of the family, you think.
Okay, so he's got 5 kids and a 6th kid who is his bastard, which means he fathered him by another woman.
It's a dirty word.
Yeah, well, it's a key word throughout the whole series. Bastards. Bastards are a thing. Bastards are given names. Their last name is a generic name based off the region that they're from. So this bastard, his name is Jon Snow. Snow is the name that they give to bastards in the north. And he is just a little bit older than his oldest natural son, Robb, who will be his heir to Winterfell. And then you've got Sansa, his oldest daughter, and then Brandon, his second oldest son, and Rickon, his youngest son.
Arya is older than Rickon.
And Arya is older than Rickon, yeah.
So it goes boy, girl, boy.
Yes. And so they're out on a hunting trip, and they find the body of... Oh, wait, hold on. Let me back up.
No. You're wrong.
Hold
So
on.
while they're doing the archery thing, Arya shows up. She ditches her lady lessons and shoots an arrow and hits the target right in the center like Robin Hood. And everybody teases...
She split the arrow in twine!
They tease Brandon because he was the one that was trying to hit the target, but she hit it.
Right.
And so then Ned's right-hand man shows up and says, we have a deserter from the Night's Watch.
Oh, we found... Okay.
Which is the guy who escaped the White Walkers from the first 5 minutes of the show.
Okay, hold on. Let me back up just a sec. Each house, each family is called a house, and each house has their own sigil, their own symbols and stuff. For House Stark, which is an important old family, their sigil is the dire wolf.
The dire wolf.
Yes.
Which is a gigantic, beastly wolf
Yes.
that can fuck all kinds of shit up.
I've seen the picture of that before on my roommate's wall.
They
Yes.
have not been seen south of the wall in many years.
Dire wolves usually live north of the wall.
Okay, so then... Go ahead, yeah, so the deserter.
So the deserter comes into play.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's back up. Sorry. So the Night's Watch is served for life, and they're not allowed to leave their post. So if they leave their post, they're considered deserters.
And they're killed.
And it's punishable by death.
And the Night's Watch is also... It's volunteers,
Yes.
but more so it's criminals who are either...
Punishment.
given the choice to serve in the Night's Watch and live out the rest of their days there, or take whatever punishment, what other punishment there might be,
Right.
which is usually death.
And finally, the Night's Watch serves outside the 7 kingdoms. So they're not affiliated or aligned with any one of the kingdoms.
They don't have to take orders from the king in King's Landing or the wardens of the regions or anything like that.
They operate independently.
So because the guy deserts, Ned Stark has to execute him, and one of his reoccurring themes as a person and a Stark family head is that honor over family, honor over everything else. Everything is honor. He has to be the most honorable person. And so one of his mantras is whoever issues the sentence has to swing the sword. And that's what he teaches his boys.
Yes.
And so he takes Jon Snow, he takes his eldest son Robb and
Stark, yep.
Brandon, his middle son,
Who's 10 at
10
this
or
point?
something
Something like that,
yeah.
somewhere close to that.
9 or 10, and to go and execute this deserter that they've captured. This is the first execution that Brandon has witnessed. So right before he executes him, he asks him, why he deserted. Does he have any last words? Whatever. He tells him about the White Walkers. Nobody believes him.
He says they're real.
He says they're real.
They are real. This is not a game. They are here.
Ned Stark chops his head off.
Boom. Done and done.
And then on the way back to Winterfell from wherever they execute him at, they happen upon a mother direwolf who has
been
died.
killed.
She was trying to like kill a stag or something, and so they find an antler in her, and that's what killed her. But she had pups, and that's who she was trying to kill a stag for. So they find the pups. They think that
they find 5 pups.
They need to kill them because they're dire wolves and they're crazy. They don't want them south of the wall. But somebody's like, no. The dire wolf is the sigil of your house. This is an omen of good fortune. There's 5 pups. You have 5 kids. Each of one of these pups belongs to one of your 5 kids. So Ned Stark says, cool. You're going to pick up after its shit. You're going to feed it.
You take care of this dog, this dire wolf, and you can have it.
And so as they go to leave, they hear another noise, and they find out that the runt of the litter had been pushed out.
There's a
from
6th
the
one.
rest of the pups. And so they give that one to Jon Snow. And that one is the
bastard.
The runt, and also an albino, so it's white with red eyes. And so they give that one to the bastard, Jon Snow.
Yes.
So they have these dire wolves that they raise.
So all the Stark children have dire wolves to raise.
As pets, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So now they're getting ready because the king, who was childhood friends with Ned Stark, is on his way up to Winterfell to pay him a visit, to say hi, say what's up. And he's seen you in a couple years. Let me see what's going on with you. And so the king's on his way because the north, as you can imagine, Winterfell up in the north, kind of a trek from King's Landing. It's a trip.
It's like a month journey to get up there.
Sure.
But they're making the trip. So his friend, his Robert Baratheon, first of his name, King of the Andals, Warden of the Free Peoples of the Westeros, or I don't even know how the title goes. Yeah,
whatever the title goes.
He's a Baratheon, and the Baratheon sigil is the stag. And so someone does make mention that it's a bad omen that they found that a stag had killed the mama direwolf. But goddammit, that's my friend. I got honor. He's coming to visit me. I ain't worried about this shit right now. That's what Ned says. He's I ain't worried about this shit right now. He's coming up. I'm excited. Everybody's excited. Let's get ready for the king. So the king rolls up.
They're not that excited, to be honest, though, because side note of all of what's happening, they receive a letter from a raven saying that the hand of the king, which is the king's right-hand man in King's Landing, has been murdered. Or he's dead, but they assume murder because the letter comes from the hand's wife, who is Catelyn Stark's sister. Catelyn Stark is Ned Stark's wife. So they believe that the king is coming up there to ask him to be the new hand of the king.
Because the king's hand was the one who raised and trained both Ned Stark and Robert Baratheon.
As children and young men.
Yes, so he was like a father figure to him.
And that's why Robert Baratheon has the throne, is because Ned Stark helped him overthrow another major family in the history of Westeros called the Targaryens.
Yes, which their sigil is the 3-headed dragon. Because centuries ago, a dude... Was it Viserys? No, something else.
Viserys is Daenerys' brother.
Well, yeah, they're all named after each other a bunch of times, but I forget.
Because they're very much...
So some dude
rolled over... pure bloodlines with the Targaryens.
Yeah,
so it's like a lot of incest.
Yeah, so some dude rolled up with his brother and sister and 3 dragons, and they flew over to Westeros and taking a shotgun and taking over a third world country real quick. That during a weekend, that's what they did. They took 3 dragons and they went and took over Westeros real quick one weekend. And their family has led the family ever since. 20 years before this, or so-ish, there was a rebellion that involved Robert Baratheon, Ned Stark, and Ned Stark's sister, who was betrothed to Robert Baratheon, but she was killed by a Targaryen, or kidnapped, or something.
Or raped.
We don't know. So they rose, they rebelled, they won the throne. Robert Baratheon became the king. He moved to King's Landing. Ned Stark said, cool, I'm going home. He went back to Winterfell. That's what's going on up till now.
And Jon Arryn, the name of the Hand of the King, the guy that trained Robert and Ned, has died.
He's
of
dead.
Mysterious causes.
Yes.
And so they all are under the correct assumption that Robert is making that month-long journey up there specifically to ask Ned to come down to King's Landing and be the new Hand of the King.
Which Ned doesn't want to do because he's not interested in politics. He wants to hang out and rule the North.
And just be with his family and do his own thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which is very admirable.
It's very admirable. He's a good dude.
This is where the whole honor thing... But... No, but this is where the whole honor thing comes in. Right. Is he feels like he has to...
So Robert Baratheon rolls up with his whole troop. There's a bunch of people. He rolls up with his wife, the queen, Cersei Lannister. Lannister's one of the biggest families in Westeros because they got all the money.
Family.
They got all the money. Gold on gold. Snacks on snacks. That's them.
And they're all blonde, which I think is an interesting poke at the Aryan superior
that's
race.
neat. I never even considered that.
Yeah, the Lannisters are all golden haired, and that actually comes back later on. We'll get to that.
So
I would hate them.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, everybody hates them.
Yeah, that's for
Except
sure.
for one of them, Tywin. Not Tywin. Tywin's the dad.
Tyrion. Okay.
Who's the midget.
So they roll up with the queen. That's his wife. And she's got a twin brother. His name's Jaime Lannister. And this dude is like a super famed knight.
They call him the Kingslayer because he is in fact the one that killed the Targaryen king
during the rebellion.
For which Robert took his place.
Yes. So they call him Kingslayer, and that sticks with him. But he doesn't care. On the surface, he looks like he doesn't care because all he wants to do is show everyone that he's the best at doing what he does.
And Kingslayer's a derogatory nickname.
Yeah, no one likes that.
Because Jaime Lannister was part of the King's Guard.
Yes.
For who they called the Mad King.
Yeah, the dude was crazy.
And he stabs him in the back in the middle of the throne room and kills him as one of his King's Guard. So they call him Kingslayer as a derogatory thing. It's not like a cool, oh shit, this guy took out this guy.
Even though the king was crazy and everyone knew he was crazy, he killed him and everyone still calls him Kingslayer because that's frowned upon.
So
because he broke his oath.
Basically, he's an oath breaker.
He's an oath breaker and a coward because not only did he kill the one person he was sworn to protect, he did it in the throne room by stabbing him in the back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's her twin brother. And then they've got a younger brother named Tyrion, who's a dwarf. He's the little dude played by Peter Dinklage that everyone sees all over the place. Dude is quick-witted. He's funny, but he doesn't give a shit about anything. He's kind of a...
I would argue he's one of the smartest, if not the smartest person in all of Westeros, as well as probably across the Narrow Sea with the other continent, which we'll talk about here in a minute.
Yeah. So they all roll up. Robert Baratheon's like, yo, what's up, Ned? Ned's like, yo, what's up, Your Highness? How you doing? He's like, shut up, call me Robert. He's like, I ain't doing that because you're the king. And he's like, all right, let's go see your sister. Because underneath Winterfell, all the Starks are buried underneath in a crypt, and then they got statues set up of their likenesses. And so Robert, who was betrothed to his sister, was going to marry his sister, but she was killed. And so he wanted to go down and see her statue. So they went down to see her statue. You could pay some respects. And he was like, yo, I want you to be my hand. And Ned was like, I don't really want to do that shit. And Robert was like, well, I'm telling you to do it because I'm your king. And he's like, all right, I'll be the hand in because you told me to. And so that's what he's going to do. But before we do that, we're going to have some dinner. We're going to maybe drink a little bit. We're going to party it up some. We're just going to hang out and have a good night. Right?
Right, because they stay there for a period of time. They don't want to just turn around and take another month journey back.
Sure.
Now, while they're all hanging out, Brandon, the middle son, he likes to climb. He's a climber. So it's known that he likes to climb the keeps and the towers and stuff.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before we get to that, a dude from the Night's Watch comes down to visit. And this dude turns out to be Ned Stark's brother. And he's part of the Night's Watch. We don't know why he's part of the Night's Watch, but he's a good dude. He comes down and he talks to Jon Snow, Ned Stark's bastard son. And he's like, hey, what's going on? And Jon Snow's like, yo, I'm going to join the Night's Watch because as a bastard, you can't hold lands. You can't do much. There's not a whole lot. You don't have a whole lot of options. So he's like, I'm going to join the Night's Watch. And his uncle's like, yeah, maybe when you're older, we can talk about it. He's like, I'm a man. I'm a man grown. I'm 16. And he's like, we'll talk about it later because that's what you want to do. I don't know. We'll talk about it later. So then he's like, all right, fine. We'll talk about it later.
So Brandon is climbing around the keep of Winterfell.
Yep.
And he's on this,
abandoned tower.
Broken down tower. He climbs up. He hears some commotion. So he's wondering what it is. So he gets to the tower and he peeks in the window at the top of this tower. And what does he find?
The queen.
He finds the queen, Cersei, getting railed from behind by her twin brother, Jaime Lannister.
Oh, yeah.
And so...
Hella.
That's some twin-on-twin action.
He doesn't realize the gravity of this when he sees it, but he kind of wants to get away, but he makes a sound, and they see him.
Yeah. Caught.
And so Jaime grabs him and pulls him into the keep, and he's like, blah, 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 you shouldn't be up here. Talks to him a little bit, but then Cersei's like, he's seen us together.
Right.
And so Jaime says... The things that I do for love. And he pushes Brandon out the window that he pulled him in from. And Brandon falls from the tower and hits the ground.
End of episode 1.
All right.
Yeah. 9 more to go.
9 more to go. We're going to have to make this a little bit speedier, but I'm following your story.
I know, you're right.
I'm trying to figure
Yeah,
out how to make
that's
it
fucking
speedier.
tough because there's a lot. Okay, so let's.
A lot of stuff
I got
happens.
this. Jump in.
Each episode's an hour long.
Right.
So.
Jump in with me here, but I'm gonna power through this here. You help me out. You back me up here.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? We're gonna speed round the next 9 episodes.
And if you have anything to say, Robert,
Yeah, jump in and
jump
questions.
in because I feel like
Or
Tim
jokes
and I
or
are
whatever.
talking A lot.
Okay, you ready?
No, it's all, keep going. I'm ready to roll.
All right.
I got a drink. I got some smoke.
Okay, we're rolling right into it. All right. So Brandon survived the fall, but he's in a coma. And they don't think he's going to make it. So everyone's like, oh, shit. And Ned's like, I can't leave now because my son's not awake yet. And so they kind of stall it out a little bit. And then finally the king's like, yo, we got to go. We got to roll. He's like, all right, fine. I got to roll. So he takes his 2 girls and he rolls south to King's Landing. He's
At
like,
the behest of his wife, Catelyn.
Yeah. She's like, take the girls because Sansa is a lady. She's like a prissy, like, oh, I can't wait to be a lady. Can't wait to do lady things. And so he's like, all right, I'll take you down to King's Landing because Winterfell's kind of treated like a backwoods kind of thing.
It's
right?
like they're like the red.
Yeah, it's like their south. It's in the north, but it's their south.
Ah, I got you.
See what I'm saying?
So
Gotcha.
that's where Kim Davis is from.
Yes, exactly.
You nailed it.
And Sansa is betrothed to
The king,
Robert and Cersei's son,
Prince Joffrey.
Prince Joffrey.
Joffrey.
Who is
Yes.
Joffrey? He's probably the single biggest piece of shit that's ever been written or into
he's a
existence
D-bag.
and then portrayed on screen.
Yeah, he's a total D-bag.
Like total psychopath, masochist, BDSM.
Like, no one can tell me what to do because I want to be king one day and I'm going to fucking do some king shit because no one can tell me not to. That kind of attitude. So
But Sansa sees him and is immediately smitten by
Right.
him because she's very naive.
Yeah.
She's like 11.
oh, he's so beautiful and he's going to be the king and he wants me and we're going to be married and have kids and they're going to be princes and princesses and I'm going to be the queen and blah, blah, blah. So
She's like the girl in middle school who like writes all her thoughts and dreams down into a Lisa Frank.
yeah, for sure.
diary.
Okay.
So, yeah. So they start rolling south and there's an incident on the way to south where Arya...
Who's the
Arya's-
tomboy?
She's a tomboy, and she's playing sticks. She's playing swords with one of the butcher's sons. And Joffrey walks upon him, and he's like, "Oh, you guys want to be a knight, huh? Well, check this shit out." And pulls the sword out. It's like, "Let's play knights." And they're like, "No, I don't want to do that," because the butcher's son's like, "No, you're the prince. I ain't fucking with you." Prince was like, "Come on, man, do it." And he's like, "No, I ain't trying to do that." And Arya, being very strong-willed, was like, "Fuck you, dude." Attacked him.
Beat the shit out of him.
And when he tried to attack her back, her wolf attacked him. And then she took a sword and threw it into the river because she's a badass.
And so he's got a wound on the arm.
Oh, I've
and
seen.
it's this whole
I've seen this exact skit before, but made fun of somehow on YouTube.
Okay.
okay.
Yes.
So you see where we're going. So he goes back and he's like, "She attacked me."
She tattles like a little bit. He tattles like a little bitch.
And lies about it.
And lies about the whole thing.
So Arya knows that her wolf's gonna be in trouble. So she says, "You gotta go." She makes her wolf go away. Go away, wolf. I can't mess with you no more.
She Harry and the Hendersons her wolf.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a good. I like that. So they get back and so they're standing in front of the king. And he's like, "No, she attacked me." And she's like, "No, that's not what happened." Da da da. And so the king's like, "Fine, you know what, Ned, you punish your girl. I'm gonna punish my son. We're gonna be done with it. Done." And then the queen was like, "Yo, what about the wolf?" And Ned's like, "The wolf's gone. I don't know what you want me to do about it." And the queen was like, "Well, she's got her wolf," and points at Sansa. And Sansa's like, "My wolf didn't even do anything." Well, guess what? That wolf's got to die anyway because the queen's a bitch.
The queen is a cold-hearted, stone-cold bitch.
She's a bitch.
Like, oh my god, she
So,
fucking makes me so angry.
Yeah, so Ned was like, "Fuck you, I'll kill it because it should be killed by someone from the north, not you piece of shit South people." So
Hella.
he went and he killed the wolf. It was really sad. It was a sad
It
thing.
was a really sad moment. Sansa's broken up about it.
Yeah, she's really sad. And now we're getting to know this other guy. His name's the Hound. He's this big, tall knight.
Half
And
his face is burned.
Half his face is burned off, and he hangs out with Prince Joffrey. He's like his guard. They call him the Hound. They call him his dog because he's brutal. He's a killer. He doesn't give a shit about nothing. If the king tells him, or the prince tells him to go kill somebody, he's gonna go kill somebody because he don't give a shit about nothing
About
So
nothing.
he's-
except killing his older brother. That's all he wants to do.
So he's Bruce Willis in Lucky Number 11.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You also meet a new player in this whole thing named Ilan Payne, who is the king's executioner.
Yep, his headsman.
Who they originally told to kill the wolf, when that's when Ned was like, "No,
Yeah,
let me
I'll
do
do
it
it."
because the wolf's one of our family. It's part of the North. We take care of our own," kind of a thing.
There you go.
Ilan Payne is an asshole, and
I don't know if I call him that, but he ain't got no tongue. His tongue was ripped out,
so he can't speak.
But he looks like a stone cold killer. I'll say, yeah, he does. He looks like a Stone Cold Killer.
But Ned doesn't like him because he's the honor guy. You know, he's like, if you tell somebody that they deserve to die because of whatever they did, then you should be the one to kill him.
Yeah, not just have somebody come do it for you.
Not have somebody do it for you, so you don't have any of the
someone who would presumably enjoy doing it,
the guilt or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever that comes from that. So their trek continues south.
We're moving south
to King's Landing.
We get south. We're in King's Landing. King's Landing is a big place. Lots of people, lots of places, but kind of shitty as old medieval towns you can imagine were.
Well, it's really shitty because everything in the Red Keep, which is the main castle, is super nice, but they don't give a fuck about the peasants at all. So,
and it turns out that
they live in squalor and filth.
Right, because while Robert Baratheon was an amazing warrior back in the day, it turns out he's really a shitty king. And he doesn't really give a shit about anybody. He really doesn't give a shit about anything except drinking and whoring and fighting. That's all he wants to do. He wants to do those three things, and that's it. Fuck all everything else. So now we're introduced to the King's Council that handles all that shit for him. You got his Master of Coin, Littlefinger, who has a history with Ned's wife. His
name's Peter Baelish.
Yeah, okay.
He was raised by Catelyn Stark's family.
Yep.
And so they grew up together, and he had a major crush on Catelyn.
Super in love with her, but it was not to be.
She was supposed to be married to Ned's brother,
right? Who
died, and so then
she married Ned
instead.
Yeah.
And so Peter kind of holds that grudge a little bit.
A little bit. But he's the Master of Coin, so he knows where all the money is, and he is a sneaky little shit. He's fucking sneaky. Don't trust that dude. As a matter of fact, that was the very first thing he told Ned was, don't trust anybody here. And he was like, I trust you. And he was like, that's a mistake. Don't trust me either. Tell us there, don't trust me, because I'm an asshole. And then there's Varys, who's the king of, or not the king, the spider.
They call
Master of Whispers.
They call him the Spider because he controls the spy network for the king. He's a eunuch.
He ain't got no downstairs parts.
Not by choice. You don't find out about his story until way later, but he's also on the council.
Yeah, they cut his small parts off. And then there's
Stannis Baratheon, who is Robert's
younger brother,
the middle brother of the three Baratheon boys, who was part of the council but fled King's Landing after Jon Arryn, the Hand of the King, was killed.
Because it was presumed that the reason that the Hand was killed was because he found something out.
And
but
Stannis
no one knows what that
also
was.
knew it.
Yes.
And so he pieced out. So his seat on the council was filled by his youngest brother, Robert's youngest brother, Stannis' younger brother,
Renly
Baratheon,
who turns out
is gay.
Oh! Not a big deal. But dude likes the fruit baskets. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. And so then
they're
obviously all part of the council.
And so there's a fourth one, isn't there?
No.
Okay. So it's them and the Hand of the King, and they run shit for the king. So when Ned shows up,
make all the king's decisions for him.
So Ned shows up, and he's like, all right, you guys are the King's Council, what's going on with the kingdom? And they're like,
the Hand of the King is supposed to run the council. He's supposed to be in charge of the council.
Yep. So Ned shows up, says, all right, what's going on? They're like, yo, this kingdom's fucked, man. We're in debt. We got people starving. We don't know what's going on. And it's just kind of all fucked up right now. And Ned was like, well, we're going to fucking fix that shit right now. And they're like, the king's not going to be okay with that because the king's going to do what he wants to do. Ned's like, you let me worry about the fucking king. We're going to fix this shit.
Because of honor.
Yeah, because of honor. Because it's the right thing to do. And then, goddamn, now we're getting fucking complicated here. Okay, we have a tournament to welcome the Hand of the King. And we meet a bunch of other knights and shit. And they're
one of them is the Knight of Flowers. They call him the Knight of Flowers.
Because he's very pretty and prissy and all this other stuff, but dude is an amazing knight.
He's one of the most badass knights.
Yeah.
Knight-wise, like fighting ability, jousting ability, stuff like that.
And turns out, secretly, the lover of Renly Baratheon. He is also gay.
Oh,
and
you also meet a guy named, they call him the Mountain.
Yep.
Who is the Hound's brother. And he's also the person who gave the Hound the burn scars.
Yep.
Because he held his face to a brazier.
To a fire because he caught his little brother playing with a toy that was his.
Hello.
So
he was like, he's like, that's my toy.
Yep.
Now I'm going to take your face and give it to the fire.
Yep. So he's an asshole and the Hound hates him.
And Sansa is like smitten by all this, the eldest daughter. She's all about
the court life.
She's all about the stories of lords and ladies and songs and
myths and legends and
knights of who are honorable and stuff like that. She doesn't realize how fucking shady everybody is.
Yep. And then we meet Barristan Selmy, who is the captain of the King's Guard.
The King's Guard.
The King's Guard. And they're a group of people who wear white cloaks, and their sole purpose, they give up all claims to lands, everything. Their whole purpose is just to protect the king. There's
Secret
seven
Service.
of them. Yeah, so yeah, there's the Secret Service. And that's all they do. And so they got them cats, they got Stannis over here, all this other stuff. And then so Ned's trying to run the kingdom. He's arguing with the king. He's like, fuck you, you're not doing your shit. You're going to start doing your shit now. King's like, fuck you. All right, you're right. Let's start doing it your way. So everything's starting to fall into place. And the whole time, Ned Stark is like, okay, what the fuck happened to Jon Arryn? I got to figure this out. And so he starts piecing some clues together. And then,
he discovers
figures
that
out
none of Robert and Cersei's kids are actually Robert's kids.
So he's got 3 kids.
All of them were fathered by Jaime Lannister, Cersei's twin brother. So there's no true heir to the throne. And so all this shit hits the fan, and that's what starts the original conflict, is that Stannis also knows this, and so he has claim to the throne by law because he's the next eldest brother to Robert. But Renly thinks that he should be king because Stannis isn't fit to rule, so they're pitted against each other. But then the Lannisters want to keep their fucking slimy grip on Westeros, so they're trying to convince everybody that Joffrey is actually Robert's son.
Mm-hmm.
So they go and they try to kill all of the bastards that Robert ever bared, which is a tough scene to watch. It's kind of like...
Because there was a lot of them, because he was a whore.
Kind of like the Book of Exodus.
There was like 20 of them.
Murdering all the eldest Jews.
Yeah.
And
then so what happens is that Robert's like, fuck this, and this is all too much. I don't really want to deal with a whole lot of this shit right now. I'm going to go hunting because that's what he likes to do. So he goes hunting, and while he's hunting, Ned Stark figures all this out. And then there was an accident while he was hunting, and Robert Baratheon is mortally wounded. That dude is going to die.
It's an accident orchestrated by the Lannisters.
Yes.
Because they give him some very specific wine
that makes him slow.
That gets him way drunker and way slower than what he would normally be had he been drinking his regular wine.
Yeah.
So he gets basically
mauled by a boar.
Kills the boar. And so on his deathbed, he tells Ned
that he is to be the warden of the kingdom until his son comes of age to rule. And when Ned is writing down his last words, what he writes is, until my heir comes of age to rule. Because he knows.
Somehow Robert is just completely naive and doesn't see that.
Yeah, that clearly that
Joffrey is not his son. And that's where the golden hair things comes in, because the last book that Jon Arryn checked out of the library was the family lines, and it specifically says that the Baratheon seed is very strong, and every Baratheon child has dark hair. Never one has ever had golden hair like the Lannisters, and so it dawns on him that
all three children
are blonde, so they're Lannisters, not actually Baratheons. So the king dies. The king dies. Renly Baratheon, the youngest brother of Robert, is like, "Hey Ned, this shit's real. I've got these people that'll help you. Let's fucking kill Joffrey and take over right now before anybody can put anything into play."
And Ned, being the honorable guy, said, "No, that wouldn't be very honorable. We need to give them the chance to fucking run."
So because of what he did, it allows Cersei and some other people to do some shit and put some stuff into play, and Ned eventually is captured and imprisoned on the charges of treason, being a traitor. And Joffrey hangs that over Sansa's head, and basically controls her by saying, "Oh, you're just a traitorous piece of shit, just like your dad." And she's like, No.
I'll be good. I swear I'm going to learn to read.
I didn't know that he was going to do that. I didn't know he was a traitor, blah, blah, blah.
Please still let me marry your son because I want to be a princess and your son's so nice to me, even though he's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit. And so they cut a deal with Ned that says, if you come before King Joffrey, who's taken the throne at this point, and say, "Yeah, I was a traitor, blah, blah, blah," we'll spare you. And you can go...
You can take the black.
Be part of the Night's Watch and take the Black Oath, just like your bastard son Jon Snow has already done at this point.
Yeah, because up at this point, Jon Snow has also gone north, and he's taken the black, and he's become part of the Night's Watch, and he's having his own troubles up there because no one likes him.
Because no one, it's like a middle school thing up
Wait,
there.
wait. So who do they tell has to go up north with Jon Snow?
Ned. They
Ned
tell
Stark. Because Ned got captured, and so they're like, "Yo, you ain't got no friends here." And matter of fact, it was Peter Baelish, it was Littlefinger who captured him.
Yeah,
and he told him,
my first thing I ever told you was not to trust me.
Yeah, don't trust me.
Why you shouldn't have.
Yeah, because I'm betraying you right now.
Peter betrays him, captures him. They cut a deal, says if you admit to these things that you didn't actually do, we'll let you live and live out the rest of your days as part of the Night's Watch with your bastard son, Jon. So he goes before the king, tells him, yeah, I'm a traitor.
Sorry about that. My fault. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, I did it.
So Joffrey, being the piece of shit that he is, goes back on his word.
No, it wasn't his word. So Cersei cut the deal with him and saying, if you do, or the queen, the Queen Regents.
Queen Regents.
And she says, all right, if you do this, I'll let you take the black. He's like, all right. So he says, I did it. Sorry, my fault. And she's like, okay. And then the Prince Joffrey was just like, fuck that shit. He's a traitor. He's got to die.
Ill and pain, bring me his head.
Boom. Kill him.
So Ned Stark gets beheaded and executed in front of the whole crowd of the city. Daughter. In the fray, Sansa is taken into custody by the Lannisters, the Queen Regent. Mm-hmm. But Arya, the younger daughter, escapes and is in the crowd and watches her dad die. But who shows up other than Ned Stark's brother? No, not Benjen. A different guy from the Night's Watch who was there.
So one of the things,
gather people from the dungeons.
Yeah, one of the things that Night's Watch does is they send people out to see if they can get people to come join the wall because they always need more people. And so this guy's down in King's Landing.
He's there to, one, gather people from the dungeons, but two, during all the intrigue that's happening in King's Landing, up at Castle Black at the wall, they find some dead bodies north of the wall and bring them back to Castle Black, not knowing that they're going to become zombie White Walkers, which they rise from the dead and can't be killed except by fire. So Jon Snow saves the commander of the Night's Watch by burning one of the people to death. They take his hand and they say, you take this White Walker's hand to King's Landing and show it to the king and say, this is a real fucking thing that's happening.
This is not a game.
We need people up here.
Now.
By the time he gets down there, all of this stuff has happened. The king's dead. Ned Stark is being executed. So there's no point in even showing them the hand.
Right.
Also, it's kind of rotted away at this point. So that person from the Night's Watch, I can't remember his name.
Yoren.
Yoren is his name. Yoren grabs Arya, recognizing her in the crowd, pulls her aside, cuts her hair right there on the spot, and starts calling her a boy, and says that if she wants to live, she needs to stick with him, and she needs to be a boy.
Because he's going to get her home.
So his plan is to go on his way back up to the wall. He's going to drop her off at Winterfell. Some other shit happens along the way, but that's where she sees him die. So she's got all these people on this list that she wants dead. Sansa's basically held captive, quotes. I mean, she kind of has the ability to do her own thing, but if she does her own thing, then she's going to die because of the Lannisters or whatever. Also, during all this time, Catelyn comes down to King's Landing to tell Ned about the whole heir thing. She leaves King's Landing to go back north and stumbles upon Tyrion, the midget Lannister.
The dwarf.
At an inn along the way. Takes him captive and takes him to the Vale, which is the kingdom that Jon Arryn and Catelyn's sister, Jon Arryn's wife, ruled.
It's up in the mountains.
To have him judged by her because
they think that he was a part of it because he was a Lannister.
Because he's a Lannister.
Which he wasn't, to be fair. He wasn't a part of it, but he was a Lannister. That was true.
So while he's there, they have some sellswords, which are mercenaries that she pays to join the group to take him there. He goes. He's in a cell. They call them sky cells because they're cut into the side of a cave and they're sloped, so you can just jump.
There's one wall missing, and it's just opened out into sky.
And so Tyrion plays it because he's the smartest motherfucker in the world. And gets an audience in front of Catelyn and her sister, and then demands trial by combat. And then he asks somebody to fight in his stead. And so this mercenary, Bronn, says that, fuck it, I'll fight for him. He's a Lannister. He's got lots of money. Like, he can pay me.
I'm going to get paid.
And so he fights one of the Vale's most awesome knights and just kills the fuck out of him. proving by combat by trial that Tyrion is innocent. So Tyrion's free to go. So Tyrion leaves. He meets the mountain tribes, which are these like barbaric people.
The real people of the South.
The
So think of like the people from Deliverance.
And so he hangs out with them, promises them new weapons and gold and stuff. So they hang out with him. They meet up with his father's army, who at this point is fighting Robb Stark, Ned's son.
So Robb Stark finds out that his father was killed and immediately raises the banners and says, "Fuck that! They killed him. They shouldn't have.
We need to
We're the
rescue
North.
my sisters."
Yep, we need to go get my sisters back. So we're gonna fucking go to war." So he calls the banners, and all of the people who live around him
In the North.
send some soldiers, and they're like, "We're gonna go south." And it turns out that this dude is a pretty good strategist. Never lost a battle.
He's actually a pretty badass ruler too, and everybody follows him.
Yeah.
Robb Stark.
And they declare him.
Robb Stark,
Robb Stark.
Ned's son.
Yep.
Who this is kind of a discrepancy because it's hard to depict people of their age in a show
Right.
in the book. In the book, Robb is like 14 or 15 when he does this and like rules the whole North and goes to war and never loses a battle. But in the show, he's very obviously like 19 or 20 or something like that. But so it's impressive to me to think that he's
Right.
15 years old, a man grown, as they say.
So they're starting to wage war with the Lannisters at King's Landing. King's Landing's calling its own banners, and they're starting to go to war with the North because all these things are going on, and it's starting this whole war is about to just erupt. And right before this war erupts, all the Northmen get together and they declare that never again will they follow anybody but their own, and they declare Robb Stark the new king of the North.
The king in the North, which is where Steve gets that from.
Yeah.
Why he always says king in North.
So Robb is the new king of the North, and they're going to wage war with the Lannisters and King's Landing in the South. They're going to get his sisters back, and they're going to declare their independence forever from King's Landing. And at that time, up at the wall, there are White Walkers. They are there. It is a fucking real. That are not a game. And they're massing, and they're about to launch this whole strike on the wall.
They're going to go south.
And that is the end of season 1.
Oh shit.
The season ends. What?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I thought we were on episode 2 this whole time, and I was like, God damn.
No, we kicked it into high gear.
Yeah.
We kicked it into high gear.
Okay, word.
So the whole season is all of what we described about Ned figuring all this stuff out.
Yep.
He dies in the second to last episode of the season. The White Walkers are coming. Not only about the White Walkers, but the Wildlings are joining together.
They're
which
massing.
Is unheard of because they're separate tribes. They're joining together to come south not because they want to conquer or fight, but they're trying to escape the White Walkers. So Jon Snow at the wall is like torn because the Wildlings are humans too, and like Heath knows that the White Walkers are real. But while that's going on in King's Landing and he's got his stuff at Castle Black, that's where Robb Stark is fighting the war against Tywin, who is Cersei, Jaime, and Tyrion's dad. The head of the Lannister family is fighting the war against Robb Stark. Tyrion is taken to the Vale. Tyrion comes back. And when Robb Stark dies, Tywin is appointed the Hand of the King to Joffrey by the Queen Regent Cersei. So she picks her dad to come and be in control of the kingdom. But Tywin is fighting the war, so he sends Tyrion, the imp, the midget, to come to King's Landing and be the Hand of the King in his place. And so the season ends with all of that shit happening.
All at once.
Okay.
And Tyrion showing up and be like, "What's up? I'm the new Hand of the King. Suck it."
Suck all of it.
So, 2 questions. Who is the king at this point?
The king is Joffrey.
Joffrey became king.
Okay.
Jaime and Jaime's bastard son, who they played off as Robert's biological son, but he's not.
Right, I remember. Okay, and then when these, what are they called? White Walkers?
White Walkers.
So White Walkers and these White Walkers, what are they amassing for? I mean, maybe it doesn't tell you in the first season, but
The White Walkers aren't necessarily amassing; they're already together.
Right. So
The Wildlings are who's massing an army together to move south.
So there's an old story that talks about the longest night. So I guess we should say too that seasons work differently in Westeros, right? So
Summer can last years.
Summer, yeah, and so at this point they're like 9 or 10 years into what they're calling the long summer.
The longest summer on record.
And because when winter comes, it's cold, it's hard, and you don't know how long it's going to last.
So that's where
the phrase
winter is coming.
Yes, that's
coming.
exactly where that comes from.
So there's an old tale about the longest night, and it was a night that lasted generations, and that the White Walkers had come from the north to the south, and they had almost killed everybody off, because that's just what they do. That's all, as far as we know, that's all they're interested in, is just killing, so that people will rise up as one of them, and then they keep going.
Which is one of the things I'm most excited about this new season, is you're going to learn more about the White Walkers. I hope.
Right.
And we'll talk about that when we talk about the other
7 seasons total.
5 seasons have aired. The season that premieres on Sunday is
no, but I mean, like, there's 7 books supposed to be all together, right? So there should be 7.
There's supposed to be 7 books, but he's any fucking month now he's supposed to release the 6th book.
The 6th book.
Okay, and then
so
the White Walkers, like, Jon Snow's up there, like, getting ready, like, hoping to fight him off, but. So those things will kill everything. Yep. So, like, they are a threat to the north just as much as they are a threat to the south in King's Landing. Everybody
yes,
they're a threat to all of Westeros.
And that's the dynamic is that no one in the south really believes that. Mm-hmm. Like, the north remembers, right? That's one of the things the north remembers. They know that the White Walkers are real, that they're not a game.
The north also remembers the death of Ned,
right?
And stuff like
that. Okay, so I was going to say,
they know that
where does that phrase specifically come? What does that specifically mean?
The north remembers comes from Ned Stark being killed, also an event that happens in a later season.
Yeah,
which we haven't talked about.
Because the north kind of gets fucked a whole lot.
Yeah, because they're totally based on honor, in which, in my opinion, they could do things that they might not perceive as honorable, but in the end would be better for them.
But they don't, because
that's the whole dynamic that
and everybody
draws
takes advantage
you into
of it.
The show is that there's the intrigue that's happening while there's an all-out fight for life that's happening, but at the same time there's inner struggles with each of the characters, like Ned Stark's inner struggle with honor over what's best, survival, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Yep. And so we missed a whole important part about this. So while all of this is going on, we find out that the Mad King, when he was killed, had 3 children. He had his oldest son, Rhaegar. He had Viserys, his younger son, and Daenerys, who was his daughter. Rhaegar was the one that fought Robert Baratheon and got killed. He got his ass kicked.
Robert Baratheon killed Rhaegar Targaryen.
Killed him dead.
That was part of the rebellion.
Dead as
gave
shit.
Robert the throne.
Dude's dead. Gone and gone. But they snuck off Viserys and Daenerys, and they snuck them off to another continent. They're going to hide them out for a little bit.
Across the narrow sea.
They're rightful heirs to the throne. We're gonna hold on to them until they get of age. So now, while all of this is going on in Westeros and all this stuff in King's Landing with Ned Stark and Cersei and the Lannisters and Tyrion and everybody, all this is going on in Westeros. Viserys is plotting his return to take his place as the king,
and he's super arrogant.
He
says, "I am the dragon.
Yeah,
I am the Targaryen name.
Yeah.
The throne is mine."
Yeah, he's kind of a d-bag too.
He's a big d-bag. He cuts a deal with the group of people called
the Dothraki.
The Dothraki, who are nomads, and they call them the Horse Lords because they ride horses. They have all these crazy beliefs that, like, if you can't ride a horse, you're not fit to lead, and all this stuff. You're
not a man. And we don't go anywhere, like, we don't cross any water that horses can't drink, so they won't go across the seas or anything.
Because the sea is salt water, so horses won't drink it. They think it's poisonous.
So Viserys makes a deal. He marries his sister off to one of the leaders of one of the bigger tribes. So in return, this tribe will follow him across back to Westeros so he could retake his throne.
Now, the tribes are led by, they call Khals. So Khal Drogo is the guy that we always talk about.
A.K.A. Aquaman.
Aquaman, the actor is going to play Aquaman. Jason Momoa. He marries his sister, Daenerys, to him in a deal. And Daenerys is the love of my life. The actress that plays her. I have a massive crush on her. And
something Clark.
Amelia Clark. She's the most adorable British woman. And
she's a fox.
So she's like, whatever. She doesn't
Not
really
as much as Natalie Dormer, but I'll give it to her.
Amelia Clark's way more attractive than Natalie Dormer.
Not even.
Dude.
I'll disagree with that.
Okay, that's fine. I'm glad because
I would agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong.
I was going to marry Amelia Clark, and if you thought that Amelia Clark was more attractive, then we'd have a problem.
No, you can have her.
Okay.
Keep her.
All right,
All right.
I will. I'll cherish her too.
I know you will.
She'll be my Khaleesi. So the Khale's wife, the queen of the tribe, is called the Khaleesi. So she becomes the Khaleesi, and she kind of grows into her own over the whole season.
Yep.
Because she's kind of mousy at first, but then she becomes a fucking hardened badass.
She gets a lot more confident. So they have a big wedding, and one of the wedding gifts that's given to her are 3 petrified dragon eggs that are meant to represent her ties to the past.
Who they believe at this time are just stones.
Yeah, because dragons have been dead for hundreds of years. The last one died off, and they haven't been seen for a long time. So she's hanging out with the Khal, and so the Khal has got to take his new Khaleesi to this place where it's kind of like the home base for all the different tribes, where they go visit every once in a while. And so they've got to make that trek there before he can do anything. So they're on their way over there. It's kind of it's a ways, and they're on horseback and walking. So it takes a minute to get there. And so the whole time, Viserys is getting impatient. He's like, yo, I got a fucking kingdom I need to go take back. I got to go get there now. And dude's like, no, we got to take our time. You know, we got to let it go. And so
because the Dothraki, they don't believe in business deals. They believe in giving gifts.
Right. You give me a gift, and maybe I'll give you one back.
I'll give you a gift in my own time.
Right. Don't rush me.
It's implied that the gift that Viserys gives Khal Drogo is his sister Daenerys, and the gift that he's going to receive in return is an army to take Westeros. Right.
And at this time, so at the wedding, a dude shows up, and he turns out to be an exiled knight from Westeros, and so Daenerys kind of clings to him, says, you're from home, you speak my language, and I can talk to you. And he's very nice, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna hang out. And he pledges his services to Viserys, saying, I'm a knight of Westeros, I'm exiled, but when you get back, you can take me back with you, and I can go back home. And Viserys is like, fuck yeah, dude, when I get into my own, I'll give you everything back. You help me take my kingdom. Cool. So they have the big wedding, they're marching back to the place, but like I said, Viserys he's getting impatient. He wants to go home. He wants to go back now.
He's a piece of shit.
He's a total piece of shit.
So the city that they go to is run by widows of Khals. So like if the Khal dies, the widow has to go back to this. They're required to go back to this city and be part of the leaders of this city. Yep. And while they're in this city, there are 2 rules, because this is where all the different tribes gather.
Because it's a tribe of warriors who just fucking pillage and fucking shit all the time.
They're not allowed to carry any weapons, and no blood is allowed to be spilled while they're in this city. Yep. Viserys breaks the first rule by carrying his weapon around, because he's the dragon.
He's the king, and
nobody can control him.
No one tells me what to do. Mm-hmm.
And he's a piece of shit to Daenerys. He bosses her around.
Pushes her around.
Kind of slaps her around a little bit physically. Yep. And so he storms into the camp, to tent where Khal Drogo and Khaleesi at this point have actually fallen in love with each other.
And they're excited because she's pregnant.
She's pregnant.
She's gonna have a son.
She's gonna have a son. The stallion who will mount the world.
Right.
As the prophecy foretells.
The prophecy that hers is gonna be the cow that unites all the cows.
And so he shows up and he's drunk and he's like, where's my sister at? Fuck you. And he pulls out his sword, which is breaking the first law.
Yep.
And then he tries to kill some people.
And then he threatens the baby.
He threatens the baby.
The unborn baby.
And his sister. And so Khal Drogo's like, fuck you. And this is one of the most badass scenes.
Very bad.
He says...
Very badass.
He's like, all right, I promised you a crown. That was supposed to be your gift in return for your sister.
You want a crown of gold?
So he takes
I'll give you a crown of gold.
He takes a cauldron, and he takes off his belt that's made of gold, and dumps it in the cauldron, and melts it down, and says... They, grab him, and they put Viserys down on his knees, and Khal Drogo, in the common tongue, English, basically, looks him in the eyes and says, a crown for a king. And he dumps the molten gold over Viserys' head and kills him right there on the spot.
Badass.
And Daenerys doesn't give a fuck because her brother's a piece of shit. And
because she says...
She's in love with Khal Drogo.
And she says he wasn't a dragon because the dragon doesn't burn.
The dragon doesn't burn. And this leads up to where the actual final scene of the first season happens.
So one of the things that happen is that now Khal Drogo's left, Viserys is dead, so now he's just kind of doing his own thing. He's out raping and pillaging and doing his own thing as they do. And so they come across a little town and they start doing their thing. But Daenerys is kind of kind. She's got a kind heart. And she's like, I don't want you. You can't do this. You can't
rape these women.
Yeah, don't rape these women. I'm taking them as mine.
They're my prize. They're going to be my servants.
So you can't rape them. And of course, Cal's people don't like that because that's not what they're used to.
Because they're supposed to be able to take whatever is theirs.
But the Cal says, that's my queen. She can do what she wants. But so Khal Drogo gets hurt. He gets a cut.
Because one of the dudes says, fuck your queen, fuck you. She stole all of our spoils from raiding this city. And he's like, don't you fucking talk to me that way or my queen that way.
Yep.
And he's like, you got something to say, let's fucking do it. Let's do it right now.
Right now.
And so he stands up and
they throw down.
He pulls out his knives, he throws them on the ground. He's like, fuck you, man. And that guy comes up and he fucking cuts Khal Drogo across the chest. And Khal Drogo, being the fucking badass that he is like, what's up? And he just pushes the blade further into him and then fucking kills the guy and wins the fight.
Yeah.
And so he gets cut. One of the people that Daenerys saves from being raped is what they call a witch, because they don't understand whatever. She follows the gods of her people in that town, and she says, I can heal that cut with some medicine or whatever. So Daenerys is like, yeah, do it, because he's my fucking
he's the
king.
moon of my moon and stars.
He's my moon and stars, blah, blah, blah. They have all these metaphors.
It's sweet. You can say it.
And it turns out that she basically poisons Khal Drogo in her attempt to save him on purpose to get revenge
for him sacking her town.
For the barbarians sacking her town. So he falls from his horse. He's not fit to lead because he can't ride a horse. She begs the witch.
She begs him to say, but she gets so stressed out about it that she goes into labor.
She begs the witch to do blood magic to save Khal Drogo. And she says, nobody's allowed to come in this tent while I'm doing this because a life has to be given in order to bring life back out of somebody else.
Yep.
So that she sacrifices a horse. There's a conflict that happens outside the tent. The guy from Westeros, the exiled knight, his name is Jorah Mormont. He picks up Khaleesi and in an effort to save her, takes her into the tent where the blood magic is being performed, to not knowing that he's doing more harm than good. In the process of the blood magic, taking her in there, some demons and some shit show up. And what actually ends up happening is that the life of her unborn son is sacrificed to bring her husband back to life, but he's a shell of his former self. He can't talk.
He's a vegetable.
Basically, he's a vegetable.
Yeah.
He can't talk. He can't
She says, when will he get better? And the witch tells him,
Never.
Basically. When the sun rises in the east and the mountains turn into sand and when your womb quickens again. So basically...
Well, it does rise in the east, doesn't it? It says rises in the west?
No.
It's the opposite of whatever.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Rises in the west. Yeah, you're right.
Rises, and
I don't know where the sun comes from.
She basically tells her he's never going to be himself again, and you're never going to bear another child.
Yep.
And so
Khaleesi's like,
all right, fuck it. Like, I'm going to be a badass. She kills her husband, the vegetable, by smothering him with a pillow.
Yep.
And then in the pyre...
She builds a pyre for him.
For his burial. She chains the witch to it.
Yep.
And the witch is like, ha ha ha, like, if you want to hear me scream, you're not going to be satisfied, blah, blah, blah.
And she's like, oh, you'll scream.
Oh, she's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And so she puts the eggs...
The dragon eggs
that were
eggs.
given a gift to her, because she's had some, like, dreams and stuff that have happened before.
Yep.
In the pyre around her husband, Khal Drogo. And then they set it on fire. And the witch is screaming, she's dying, and Daenerys plans to walk into the fire. And Jorah Mormont, who at this point is in love with her...
Yep.
begs her not to do it.
Don't do it.
She's like, if you're going to be my right-hand man, you're going to serve me to the death.
And don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
I'm a dragon.
Because I can't be touched. Let me do this.
Dragons don't burn.
So she walks into the fire. The fire burns all night. The season ends the next morning.
Here's the final scene. He set it up for you. Pay attention. This is the last scene.
He walks over to the ashes of the pyre. And nothing is left except for Daenerys, untouched by fire.
Untouched.
And all 3 dragon eggs have hatched. And she's
got 3 baby dragons around her.
3 baby dragons. And that's how the season ends.
That's the end. That's season 1. In a nutshell.
Word.
A big-ass nutshell.
So all that stuff is happening all at the same time as you're watching these episodes. It's cutting between characters, which is indicative of the way the books are written, because each chapter of the book is named after the character
it's from a perspective of the character
following it.
So did you catch all that?
So Bram Stoker wrote it?
Yes.
Okay.
Bram Stoker,
no,
a.k.a.
George Railroad Martin.
George Railroad Martin.
What?
All right, so did you catch all that? Any questions?
I did actually catch all that. As much as I won't be able to remember any of city names or most of the people's names, I do thoroughly understand people from different areas did different things, and I followed that. Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this.
We had
real
some
quick.
good.
That's a good synopsis.
Analogies. I like
good
the deliverance. What was the
Harry and the
the
Hendersons.
fucking that
Harry
one
and the
that one was
Hendersons,
spot on.
That was a good one.
That's spot on.
I'm curious now because I know that you are super into politics here in America, but also a little bit of a geopolitics kind of a thing. Does this intrigue you at all with all of the the backstabbing and the political side of it and stuff like that? Because this is part of why we thought you would have actually liked the show.
Yeah, no, I mean, Steve said forever that he thought that I would like the political aspect of it, and honestly, probably about 4 or 5 of the scenes you described, I had seen that night in his drunken terror, and I mean, like, I'm a fan of the brutality. I'm a fan of politics, yes, but the other thing I am is I'm a fan of being a hipster, so I refuse to jump on any train that sailed 6 years ago. And
I can understand that.
That's fair.
And so since everybody loves that, the last thing I'm going to do is start now and then have some fucking Facebook status update in a week and a half from now. It's like, oh my god, the end of season 1 was fucking crazy. So, no.
Well, you can post that tonight.
Which is why...
Because we just gave it to you.
Which is why we're forcing you to listen us recant.
Yeah. Very poorly, but at the same time, amazingly. Yeah. So that's season 1. So that's just a taste of the next episode. Because if you thought that was crazy, we still got 4 more seasons to go.
We might have to get this down to a little bit more of a science.
We got this. I got ideas. We got this.
You got it?
Well, you guys did the rest of the season in like 25 minutes until that last extra part. But
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's hard because Daenerys has got her own thing going on over there.
She's got her whole other thing going on.
She could be her own series.
Oh my god, I love her so much.
Well, you can have her, man, because when Marjorie shows up, that's
Dude,
where I'm
whatever.
at.
Okay, so I was hanging out with my buddy last week, and I was upstairs getting some Kool-Aid, and I was about to go downstairs where we were playing Mortal Kombat, and as I'm walking down the stairs carrying 2 cups of Kool-Aid, I hear Conan say, "Oh, and after the break, we've got Emilia Clarke," and I immediately froze, and I backpedaled up the stairs and sat down on the couch, and my buddy was like, "Dude, get down here, the update finally finished, we've got the Xenomorph, we've got all the playable characters, we're going to tear it up," and I was like, "You shut the fuck up right now, my wife is on TV," and he was like, "What?"
So you were the one person who thought that the new Terminator movie was good.
He was.
That I thought it was a good movie, but I will say that I thought Emilia Clarke was absolutely stunning throughout of it. Oh my god, she's so awesome.
Put your boner away.
She's so fucking
fine.
cute.
Okay, yeah, she's
the whole thing on Conan, she's talking about how people don't recognize her because she plays a blonde character in the show, but she's actually a brunette in real life. Nobody recognizes her, and she's on Conan, and Conan's like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "I could be out with Kit Harington, who is the actor who plays Jon Snow, and people rush up to us and they're like, 'Oh my god, Jon Snow! Oh my god, Kit Harington! Can we get a picture? Can we get a picture?' And they hand her the camera and say, 'Will you take a picture of us, please?' And then she's like, 'Yeah.' And then so I take the pic. I'm like, 'Of course, yeah, I'll take the picture of you,' because she's so fucking humble. And then she's like, 'Oh, hold on, Kit, I gotta run to the loo real quick,' because she's British and she calls it the loo.
Right.
And
it's weird.
On her way to the bathroom, she says she can hear all the American girls going, 'Oh my god, who is that girl that Kit Harington was with?' And like not have any idea who she is. And she is not wrapped up in the whole fame thing.
Okay,
and she's gorgeous.
All right.
And she's funny.
Okay. You can have her.
She's got a British accent. She
I'll
calls
introduce
the
you next
bathroom
time
the
we're hanging
loo,
out.
and she calls the elevator the lift. Okay.
All right. Next time I'm hanging out with her, I'll introduce you.
Oh my god.
Okay.
If only that was true.
So this was just a small taste. So we're going to drop a special extra episode this week. And we'll catch up with the rest of it because our ignorant rant of Ice and Fire is going to be coming out soon. We're going to make Bobby be a part of this because that's what we do. So until then, make sure that you check us out on all of our social platforms. You can email us at ignorantrants@gmail.com. You can check us out on our website at ignorantranters.com. Check us out there. You can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/ignorantrants and follow us on Twitter at ignorantranters. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Kid Insanity. Brent, where can they find you on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter at TinyMouth.
Mouth.
MOWTH.
Words. Bobby, where can they find you on Twitter?
Bobby WWS.
Words, which stands for Why Won't
Steve.
Stand.
Why won't Stan?
Uh,
And Amelia, if you're listening to this, seriously,
Just give him a call. He's a good guy.
I'll treat you like the Khaleesi that you are.
And-
Yeah, Brent, you are definitely his moon and stars.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Moon of
to
my life.
everybody else listening who doesn't necessarily care or really doesn't care about Game of Thrones, I will let you know that on our episode on Saturday and from our following season 6 episodes, I will be bringing hot fire because I could give a fuck less about this shit.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We
I
expect
had
it.
I had to learn the
we welcome
basis.
it.
I had to learn the basis first so I can start talking.
No,
some
that's
shit.
okay, and I'm okay with it, and because I know that by the time this season is over, you will be converted.
You're gonna be way into it.
Yep. So until then, until we catch you next time, catch you next week. Winter is coming.
And I love you, Amelia.
Peace.
We're out.